So, my guest today, everybody, well, we're going to be doing some more interviews, as you guys have probably noticed as of late from my streams. I really missed doing them, and I kind of just stopped for a little bit because I did like 20, I think, in a month, and I got kind of burnt out.
No.
But I'm very excited to do them again, and I hope you guys have been enjoying them. Today's guest is very dear to my heart, even though we don't hang out as much as I'd like to. I'd like to hang out more. She is genuinely a big inspiration of mine. Was the first VRChat streamer I ever met back in the day when they were known as syncridge. I don't know if that's private information or
No,
not.
you're fine. It's not.
Yeah. And they just were so beautiful and so adorable and sweet. And I've been watching food videos. I think his name's Mikey Chan. Mikey Chan. Mikey Chan. Mikey Eats. And they just were doing it since then. I think you've been streaming for 9 years now is what the...
Officially, yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that in a sec. But hello, everybody. I just want you guys to know I will be reading chat. I might not be able to respond as I normally do, but know that I'm reading, and I'll try to respond if there's some dead time. I'll try to send some hearts or whatever, but I'm not ignoring you. Just want to focus on my guest today. Let's see, the timestamp is at 13 minutes, and I think now would be a good time to start. Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't be nervous. You'll be so fine.
I'm scared.
So fine. Streaming for longer than most people knew Twitch existed. Yeah. So I know you as a... Thank you, Kiros, for the tier 2. I love you. Thank you. Icaros Chan. Hi. Okay. Start now. 13:30. Okay. Today's guest is my lovely friend Moxley. They used to go by alithara and syncridge on Twitch, but now they're at kick.com/Moxley, Moxley. I know you as a variety streamer. You stream a lot of VRChat. You're a Fortnite master or god, as some say. I think you're pretty much ranked on Euro Truck Simulator or something.
Oh my god.
I love you so much. It's okay. We got to spit the facts here.
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong, right? You said former MMO, or not MMO, well, MMO player, but former MMA fighter as well.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Former MMA fighter.
Cool one to throw out.
You know, randomly I was like freestyling about you, like, and I associated you with Paul Bear for some reason. I was just cracking up to myself. I was like, there's nothing to do with Paul Bear. You're so cute. Sorry. SMH. Anyway, she is beautiful and is one of the sweetest, most chill people I know. Really has just been on the stream grind for longer than anybody I know, and recently got partnered on Kick, which I'm so proud of you for. And you know,
Thank you.
You deserve all the success that you're getting, and I see you grinding so hard, and I'm just happy to see you flourish and like grow and feel like just it feels like you're more passionate than ever, or just as passionate as you were when you first started. Maybe. And like
that means a ton. Seriously, I really appreciate it.
It seems like you're having fun again, and that you're like
always.
You always are having fun, but lately it seems like your drive has been
for sure.
There, you know,
it has been pretty remotivating for sure.
Yeah. Do you wanna tell me more about, like? I guess that we could start that. I was gonna ask first, like, how you got started streaming, and then maybe how you got into VR, because you started streaming way before VR, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But do you want to tell everyone, like, about what you do, you know, who you are, how you got started? I know it's so hard, but
I'll just basically start it out with how I got started streaming. And
yeah, I
started in 2014. I had seen like a couple of people I really liked on Twitch. A friend of mine showed me like Twitch on an Xbox, and I was like, well, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And it didn't really hit me that like, it didn't hit me what it was. I was like, I see gameplay, I see people playing games, and I'm like, okay, well, they have an audience, and I thought that was so neat. I was like, oh my goodness. Well, after my MMA career ended, I kind of went into a bit of like an antisocial path for a couple years. So I saw a reason to talk. I saw a reason to socialize, and that's what I wanted from it. So sadly, I at the time was going through I was homeless, so I had two laptops that I'd spent the rest of my money on, and a capture card, and these are two absolute potatoes. And this
Yeah.
this goes to show that you can build an empire with two rocks.
Right.
Um, so the reason why I had two laptops is because I knew I couldn't lug around like a big computer all the time. So I would go to friends' house to stream, some relatives and things like that. Because at the time, my mom had to go to rehab and stuff. So my brother and
Oh.
I couldn't live with my mom anymore. So
Yeah.
I would just kind of hop around and figure out where I could go. And I probably should have been more responsible, right? I probably should have got a real job and all kinds of other stuff. But I guess the rush and the excitement from being a mixed martial artist kind of it tainted me a little bit. Like I didn't want to just work at a regular job, which there's nothing wrong with that. Um, but I decided to start streaming, and right off the bat, I fell in love so quick with it. Just having company, right? Like one or two people. I was so amazed by that you could play a game and have some company.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of got to a point where I started to realize that, this isn't very healthy right now for me. And financially, it was really not.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember having a night where I think I was playing with a couple of viewers, and they would just ask me, like, they asked me the question that you asked me, like, how did I get started? And well, I really didn't know because I was so new into it. And I just had shared my story, and people kind of started supporting me for it. And they were like, oh, you should do this, or you should get a PayPal button and things like that. And I was like, that's never going to happen. And I don't see that's that very necessary. But I did it. And people started supporting me, and it allowed me to actually scratch and claw my way into somewhat being stable to like eat, start having like a reasonable place to stay. And finally, my dad came back around and allowed me to live there again, but I had to pay rent. And the sad part is that I was only allowed to stay in a room that was the size of basically like a small walk-in closet.
Oh
And my
gosh.
desk, in order to even have it set out, it had to go against the door. So every time I had to like
Oh
go
my
use the restroom or anything
gosh.
during stream, I had to move my whole desk
Oh my
to open the door and
gosh.
get out. And that was the biggest meme of the start of my streaming career. People were like spamming door giveaway, that old meme and everything, because I literally had to move my whole setup. And
Yeah.
I things cleared up in my life. Like my mom had finally like gotten sober and things like that, which was amazing. And she invited me to come back home, which was a much better situation for me where I could actually like hold income, right? And I'd saved up for another year and got my first desktop computer. And that was so awesome for me because I didn't have to use two potatoes anymore to play games and things like
Yeah.
that. And it was really like eye-opening for me. It made me realize that, I'm really glad I didn't give up or focus on something else. And I'd just been having so much fun with it that it was kind of hard for me to take on proper responsibilities, which I probably should have. I don't recommend anyone do that. You should always like pre-prepare for everything so that if it fails or backfires, you will always have something to kind of lean on.
Yeah.
Um, but this is back before the affiliate program had even existed, so
Oh.
to make income as a small streamer was just kind of unheard of.
Yeah.
Um,
Was it all
but
through
people would
donations? I'm sorry. Or
all through donations,
okay,
and
yeah.
people started really supporting me, and I never would mention it or anything like that, so it was really always like something that would catch me off guard. And I remember just kind of questioning where I was at in streaming, and I wasn't really going anywhere. I've kind of always been stuck in one spot, but I kind of it's like my own fault. But I do it on purpose because it's where I'm comfy, I guess. And I just got really comfy with where I was, and I started building like a pretty small community and things like that. I went semi-pro in CS:GO, And I started making funds off of that more than streaming to kind of make ends meet a little bit. And from there, I that's a lot of years to be honest, but when it gets to like 2017 is when I saw VRChat and I started to kind of get really curious about it. Well, I definitely didn't have the computer to to run that. So I was just like a desktop person for about all of 2 weeks. All of 2 weeks is all it took, and I got an Oculus CV1, and it somewhat would work on my very scuffed desktop. And I remember Christmas had come around, and I still only had like so many people within my community, but they surprised me, and they built a computer for me, and I could not
Oh,
believe that. So they sent me a really cool computer that it had really good specs in it for VR. So I was so hyped on that, and I was able to start streaming VR chat. And just my overall experience of getting into VR chat for the first time was probably like one of the biggest natural highs I've ever had. Like,
yeah.
just so much randomness and chaos everywhere. And the one thing that I had basically started streaming for was all around me. Like, there were people to socialize with everywhere. So my little heart was just like so so happy about that. And I started making like really good friends and getting involved in groups and things like that. I met you, I think, in like 2018, I want to say, and
Yeah.
it was just it changed my life. It really did. And some people could say that um, relying on VR chat for social interaction too much could probably be unhealthy and prevent you from actually wanting to go outside and socialize. But for me, like someone that just hadn't been doing it at all, it was
Yeah.
really nice because when my MMA career ended, I was in a very, very weird place. Like, I almost like shut down, basically. I isolated myself for almost 2 or 3 years completely.
Yeah.
And it kind of, VR taught me how to like socialize again. And I was that streamer caught up in that first batch of people in 2017 and 18 that were broadcasting VR when the directory was still kind of small. And, there were people like around me in the directory that I made friends with, like Rebel and
Mm-hmm.
there's a couple others. But it was wild seeing like all those people doing the same thing, right? They were trying to progress, and some of them have gone on to do wonderful things. Um, and I sort of wasn't really dishing out the same kind of content that those people were. I've always kind of had like comfy vibes where I just kind of like read chat and give chat attention and things like that, which is what I've always loved about streaming is being able to just interact with people. I mean, that's wonderful. And VR chat kind of motivated me to really like avatars and things like that. So in 2018, the same year that I'd really like kind of kicked off with VR chat, one of the reasons why I sort of made myself get overshadowed by a lot of the other streamers is I kind of let go of VR streaming for a while and I became a VTuber in 2018, which is still a weird time to do that. In
Yeah.
2018, there were not a lot of VTubers, and if there were, a lot of people really didn't know what they are or were.
Yeah.
And I had started VTubing, and it was cool because I was like, oh, this is so neat. I can still have the attitude and look of an avatar, but now I'm playing games at the same time. So it really made me want to be a VTuber. And some more negative things kind of popped off and happened. I stopped streaming for I want to say like 4 months, and I kind of like went into like a weird place where depression is a hell of a drug. Like it will make you
Yeah.
basically stop talking at some extent. And I did. I stopped talking again, and I started to float back into where I was several years ago when I isolated myself. And I could feel it like just getting worse. And I was like, this is terrible. And out of nowhere, I reemerged in 2019 with a test stream. And I had been using the program called Suva, I believe it is. Someone in chat probably knows what it is. And it's
Yeah,
where
it's
you
I think it's
basically
super.
connect your Vive trackers and you mocap yourself with it so that you can VTube with tracking. And I had started using Suva, and I literally was just doing a test stream. I think I was playing Daisy, and that one test stream that was just supposed to be like me making sure my specs and everything could keep up with all of it, I blew up. From a test stream, I blew up because it was like still kind of rare to see like a VTuber and a VTuber that was tracked in that way. And that's around the time when like people like, Project Melody and things really started bursting out on the horizon. So people were starting to get really big on VTubers. And I think because I was ahead of the curve of VTubers being, slapped in our faces, it allowed me to kind of have a head start on exposure. And that one stream, I blew up. I think I had gained like 30 plus followers, which is huge for anyone. Like that's a lot in one stream. And there were so many people that are still with me today from that one stream that they were all out for me. And I was so humbled by that. And that was the day that really kicked off me being able to say that I can full-time do this and kind of look at it as a career for the time being, at least. And things really started propelling for me. I got back into VRchat. I continued to VTube, and just so much was happening at once. And after so many years of just doing it as a hobby, I couldn't believe how just so much was happening at once that I would almost have anxiety attacks. Like I could not believe that there were people around, and I'd gotten affiliate, so people could sub to me now and support me. And I'd always made sure people knew like it's just an option there. You don't have to do that. And people were just going wild. And then we come around to 2020 when COVID and things like that had kind of kicked off, and a lot of people were at home, right? Like a lot of people just couldn't be anywhere. So I noticed that there were more Twitch viewers than ever. And I was so scared. I mean, a lot of people were, right? Like I actually was like, we're all gonna die. And a lot of people did. But I was so scared and so nervous for the world that I wanted to make sure that anyone that is in my presence, in my stream, in VRchat, that I could set some sort of comfy vibe to take away some of that fear. And people started to recognize that and see that. And that is when my community really took off, was during COVID, because so many people had the time to go through directories and see what's going on. And it was that year that I was supported enough to know that I'm well on my way to better things. And I knew that whatever that would be, I would put it right back into what I love, which is streaming. And you should definitely have more hobbies than streaming. Unfortunately, for a long time, the only one I've had for a long time is broadcasting. I've found some more things along the way to help hone my addiction. But I was financially getting into a better spot, which allowed me to stream more and stream healthier, like well-fed. And I was able to like kind of try things that I usually wouldn't have tried before. And, you move up a couple of years from there. I was able to move out of my mom's basement. Yeah, imagine being a basement gamer. I was there. And I got an apartment. I stayed there for a year. And now here I am from this thing I've been doing for 9 years, and I have a house. And when I try to go back in time and I see that 21-year-old with a backpack with 2 laptops in it, those 2 potatoes, that kid had no idea what they were in store for. They had no clue where that would bring them. So it's just very humbling to sit here and be in the position that I'm in, even as a small streamer, because I very much am. I'm a very, very small streamer.
Well, not anymore.
I don't know.
That was an amazing story, and You truly are like such a huge inspiration to me. Just like what you said,
Thanks.
where you came from, and being able to buy a fucking house streaming. I mean, that's pretty incredible. Um, this, by the way, I feel like you have the lady of a million monikers. Like, is there a name that you specifically like to go by? I guess Moxley for
I'm
now.
in the process of changing my actual name to Alexa.
Yeah, I heard AJ use
My
that. I
dead name
wasn't
is
sure.
basically Alex, so it's kind of cool.
Oh,
That
okay.
name can be thrown
That's a
between
good,
very
yeah.
many identities, which is nice. But
Mhm.
Alexa is where I really
I like that name.
I
That's
like it a
pretty.
lot.
That's really pretty. Yeah.
Thanks.
Um, so can I call you Alexa?
Sure.
Okay, Alexa. Oh, you're so cool. When did you buy a house? How long ago did you buy a house?
Back in November,
Yeah, I
I
started to say.
um I was playing Fortnite one night and I had a conversation with somebody and I was like, you know, this place is really cool, the apartment that I was at, but it all it did for me was allow me to brainstorm and figure out what I really wanted. And
Yeah.
I realized that I just don't have enough space for my wild brain, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
over here with a whole room dedicated to Truck Simulator.
Yeah.
That whole room has three giant monitors in it. You can barely fit in the room itself. And that was eye-opening. I was like, okay, you might have too many hobbies now.
That's
But
okay.
that's the thing. Like streaming's allowed me to kind of like figure out what I like and what my hobbies are. And I
Yeah.
realized that, um, you know, I don't want to keep putting money into a place that I can't keep, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like an
Yeah.
apartment is great. You don't have to mow grass. If something
Yeah.
breaks, it'll be fixed. But I realized like I wanted more space because my brain has so much creative juices flowing through it that I'm trapped in here. And
Yeah.
I didn't like how I was just near too many people, and I am sort of antisocial.
Right.
So I just wanted a place where I could think. I wanted a place where I could just go outside whenever I want and relax and get fresh air and just have somewhat of some sort of a view. And um, I realized, like, after doing what I've done for so long, that I owed that to myself. I owed that to myself for sure, or I was going to probably just stay in that apartment for forever in a sense. And I'm one of those people where I have to basically push myself out the door. Like come on, girl. Like you gotta, it's time to do something and get out. So I had pushed for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot happening before that. I became a Fortnite semi-pro with a creator code and things like that. So I was financially pulling in a little bit extra than usual. So I was like, now is the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's now or never. And you know, I might have bitten off a bit more than I can chew, but I'm making it work. And
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that I have a plan B for everything, for literally everything. They're not always the greatest of plan Bs, but
What's your
it's
plan
the
B?
plan B. Oh, you really want to know?
Yeah. I do. Of
So
course I do.
you know that I'm very like fit and I love fitness and
Yes.
I actually
It's
one
your one
thing
of
I
the
got
biggest
from
inspirations.
mixed martial arts is um, I had sort of lost focus of pain, which is terrible because you need pain. It's a warning sign that it's time to stop something or take a break and take a breather. And for me, like transitioning, estrogen has allowed me to start to feel those warnings again. So I have a
Mm.
safe zone now that's like you need to stop working out and take a break or you're just gonna pass out or hurt yourself. So I
Yeah.
didn't have that before. And now that I do, I've kind of noticed my limits and things like that. And I am still training, and I have been since probably I was when I was 16 years old to be a professional wrestler. And I've
That's so
noticed that
cool.
transgender wrestling promotions are starting to emerge. And I'm like,
Really?
oh my God, that would be so
Oh my
awesome
God,
to
that'd be
represent the
so
trans community as a
cool.
professional wrestler. And I'm very good friends with lots of really famous wrestlers. Like I'm really good friends with a lot of them. So they have like all the doors that they can pre-open for me basically to immediately have my foot through the door. And I have a lot of background in things that allow me to kind of skip the line a little bit.
That'd be
But that's a
so
pretty
cool.
bad backup plan, I can't lie, because you could get hurt and not be able to really. You can't do that forever, right? I guess you can't do anything forever, but you certainly can't do that forever.
Yeah,
And I'm
certainly.
not exactly the youngest anymore. I'll be 30 this year, so it's
Yeah.
kind of that's a window that's closing at the same time,
But it's still not too late at 30 to do that.
for sure.
Um, wait, so that's your plan B?
That is my plan B for
Oh,
sure.
are you thinking about just doing that on the side, just dabbling in that for
Yes,
fun? You
yes.
definitely should.
A plan of mine, because I have a little bit of I have a pretty big yard, right? Like I live on a mini ranch. I want to build a warehouse and put a wrestling ring in it.
That'd be so
And
cool.
yes, and I'd like to dip into promotion a little bit and get a license to promote shows in that warehouse. And I have a lot of friends close by as well that are down the same route. So it's not unheard of here in this town where I live for people to take that route. This is actually a wrestling town, is what you call it, where I live.
Interesting,
It's
yeah.
very common. And my brother is one of those people. One of my best friends are. And an idea that we had was get the right permissions and do a Twitch wrestling league that's broadcasted
Oh,
on
that'd be
Twitch.
so cool.
It would be really cool, and it would allow us to creatively take care of things before having like full house shows with like, random people and chairs all around and chaotic things like that. It'd be nice to do it online first. So
Yeah,
the audience would be virtual first.
that'd be so cool. I'm just gonna, for everyone who just joined, we're doing an interview. My guest tonight is the lovely Moxley at kick.com/Moxley. Partnered kick streamer and former MMA champion and now
Not a champion.
champion of my
I
heart.
beat one though.
Prospective wrestler, but also just an amazing person all around, very sweet and comfy and just a huge inspiration of mine. Genuinely a huge inspiration of mine. I like want to hit you with a chair all of a sudden. Would you do hardcore? I was gonna ask you like what kind of, it's kind of hard to answer, but I guess if you could liken your style of wrestling to anyone, who do you think you would be like if you were any wrestler? What would your style,
Well,
or
when
a
I was younger,
combination of things?
when
Yeah.
I was younger, I did wrestle for a promotion. My brother and I both did. We were twins at birth.
Okay.
So we're super identical, not anymore for obvious reasons, but
Yeah.
we're super identical. So it was very easy for us to be a tag team because two people that look alike, well, put them in the same gear, and that's two money makers right there. But unfortunately, the promotion that we wrestled for, and we were, this is kind of messed up, but we were 16 and we did it all the way up to 18, was kind of, I would say, a pretty savage promotion that has too many spot fests, which is where they will classify you as a spot junkie. And that's basically where there's a lot of weapons, tables, and things,
Uh,
which don't let that stuff fool you. A lot of it is designed to look like it hurts, and it does, just not at the level that you think it does. Now, the
Still
accidents
hurts.
can happen with those things that
Yeah.
cause some pretty bad mishaps, but it was basically a hardcore wrestling promotion, so they really relied on their talent using obstacles and weapons due to a lot of them not having good skill to
Yeah.
wrestle.
Right.
And I'll never forget watching my brother when he was 17 years old do a hardcore barbed wire
Oh
match, and
my
that's where
god.
they take the ropes down and they use barbed wire as the ropes.
That's brutal.
It was so terrible. I had to clean his wounds for the next 3 days, and then
Oh my
basically he was
gosh.
down and out. He's lucky he didn't get like sick or infection, and he actually had to go
Right.
get tested to make sure that he was okay and there wasn't like a blood infection or anything. But yeah, he bled everywhere, and I have too, but more from accidents. And I'll say that my time as a cage fighter was very much more difficult and much more risky. I was forced to stop, basically.
For what
When I was in
reason?
high school, because of my sexuality, I was actually bullied, and I had got sucker punched from behind,
Oh my
and I had a
gosh.
severe concussion, and it made me have a seizure at the same time.
Jeez.
And I for sure thought I was dead. I was out so long that when I woke up, I saw my dad, and I was like, okay, if you're here already, I must have really been out for a long, long time.
Jeez.
So, and that was when I was a little twink in high school. So I was just a little tiny cutie, and I was bullied for my sexuality. And that is what made me become a cage fighter. I was so angry at the world that I had basically betrayed myself. And I have pictures that, if you could see a picture of me then and now, it is wild. It is absolutely insane. I was completely jacked, like to a point where you could tell I was very angry at the world. And I had transformed into a completely different person out of pure anger, which is not, you shouldn't do that. You should, you should always, like, connect with your friends and figure out another way to heal yourself. So basically, entering my MMA career, I was already on borrowed time due to that concussion itself. Like, I'd already had a big chunk of time taken away from me right there. Um, my record ended at 7-5, and it's an amateur record. So um, those are basically it's a way for you to be approved to become a professional. And sadly, the 5 losses I have all are due to severe concussions,
Oh
and
my
it
God.
is not fun in front of 900 people, just going out cold and waking up, and all you hear is the roar of people. And at the time, my family was going through like um, a dark time, so I didn't have family with me at these events and everything like that. So the sad part was is I had to talk to a coach or another fighter and make sure that I was situated if I got hurt, and that somebody would be called if I had to go to the hospital. And all 5 times that I lost, I had to go to the hospital and get CAT scans. And I still do to this day, sadly, I will start to roll over words. I stutter
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah.
I have severe brain fog. Like, I mean, I sometimes it'll take me triple double what it takes the average person to figure something out sometimes. So
Oh
that
my
that
God.
sucks, but with all of it, I have no regrets. I actually learned a lot and gained a lot of discipline from
Yeah.
that. It was at a time I really needed it in my life. Like, there was just too much going on that I needed a distraction from. And
Yeah.
sadly, that was it for me. But that's what I did. And like I said, I wasn't a champion, but the only professional fight I had, and it's the only one I had, and it was in the middle of my amateur career. And this is back in 2010. This is when MMA was still like locally very like unsanctioned, and I probably should take some people to court, I'll be honest with you. It was very unsanctioned, and a lot of people got away with a lot of dirty stuff. But a
Right.
friend of mine, his name was Ian Axum. He was the 155-pound champion, and I'd been training with him for a long time, and he was the best person in that weight class in my entire state. And it was so intimidating meeting him and like becoming friends with him. And he turned out to be like a fantastic person, super nice, and we would train and spar. And his highlight video on YouTube is insane, absolutely insane. Well, I get a call, and they're saying that Ian's opponent had dropped out of the fight due to this or that, and they asked me if I would fight Ian Axum. And I don't know what came over me, but I said yes. And this was my fourth bout. And Ian Axum's like, he's like 15-2 or something. Um, and it's a non-title fight due to the fact that it has to be a catch weight bout because I was 125 pounds. I would cut weight from 140 pounds to 120 pounds to
Oh my
compete in the flyweight
God.
division.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of days to gain a little bit of weight, and I hit 135. He still sat at 155, but that's after you
Oh my
cut and get on
God.
the scale. When they go
Yeah.
home, they eat and they pile up and drink water. So on the scale, he was 155. but standing in front of me, he was about 175 to 180.
Oh my
So
God,
it was
okay.
considered a catch weight bout. But I had trained with him so much. Like I'd known so many things that he does. And I knew that his ground game was awful. It was
Yeah.
terrible. And by the way, I'm a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, which that's a whole other story in itself that I had pursued at a very young age before cage fighting. Um, so he took me down to the ground, and you can kick off the cage if you have to get a better position. And dude, he was so heavy. And I kicked back upside down on top of him in side control where he had just had me. And he panicked and he gave me his back. And I rear naked choked him in front of 900 people,
Oh
and
my
I
God.
won that. That was
Oh
the
my God.
greatest
Wait, so
accomplishment that
does he
I
just
ever had.
does he like submit? Did he
He
submit?
submitted, he
Oh
tapped.
my gosh,
But it
dude.
was so wholesome. Like he grabbed me by the head and he said, "I love you so much." And he was like, "You deserve this." And you gave everyone a show when it was going to get canceled. And I wasn't making money for that fight. I didn't make anything. I actually barely
Oh.
made anything at all for fighting. And that was a big paycheck for him. And despite having as many fights as he was very much relying on that payout to like take care of his kid and everything. So
Oh.
I was pretty thankful I stepped up to the plate. I'm also really thankful that he didn't land a single shot on me because holy heck, that
Yeah.
guy was wild. And he's retired now too. So time has definitely taken its course for a lot of people.
Yeah. That's an incredibly fascinating story. I did not, you know, Farisa or whoever, would always say, yeah, Ali Moxley's an MMA fighter, and I was like, huh, I want to hear the whole story, and I did not know it was like that,
Yeah, it was
truly.
wild. I devoted so much time to it
Wow.
that that incident in high school that had happened was sophomore year. I dropped out of high school and I never went back a day later. Never. I tried
Oh, I
to
didn't
for
know
one
that.
day, and too many people were like making fun of me and saying that's that person that was shaking on the floor and
What the
drooling out of
fuck,
their mouth and things
man?
like that. And I had a girlfriend at the time, and she broke up with me because she saw me that way.
Oh
Um,
my God, that's
so,
so
like I said, I was
horrible.
very angry, very, very angry. And I dropped out of high school and I pursued my MMA career full time because it was the distraction I needed. And it disciplined me. It allowed me to like not get angry at everything and stuff like that. So, yeah, but I shouldn't have left high school, but I did. And my path has been very wild. I have like for someone that's almost 30, I've lived a very, very unique, crazy life. So I will be honest, to be able to just chill out in VR these days and snuggle with
Yeah.
people and find myself and be cute is a paradise that I'll never be able
Mm.
to explain.
Yeah, well, I think you just did. Like, I totally understand. Wow. I don't even know what to say now.
Well, it's
Well,
it's wild, right? Like I try not to think too deep about it because um I had I robbed myself of who I was to become a fighter.
you mean like,
My physique, my looks and
uh,
everything completely basically I mutated myself. And now I'm having to suffer through that today. I have scar tissue damage on both of my eyebrows that I still have to have looked at all the time. And it's not even from the fights themselves, it's from sparring for them.
right,
My
yeah.
poor eyebrows, like gosh, I have to mess with them all the time because it's sad. I wish I could afford to get proper treatment for them, and I probably will do that very
Oh,
soon.
okay.
But yeah, like I'm working on becoming me again, and I had recently 2 years ago came out as trans, and I'm finally able to like remember who I was and what I wanted to be and why I fought so hard and what my anger was really about, and it was due to just not being accepted.
Yeah.
And that's like something that, uh, a lot of trans people go through, right? Maybe not as gruesome as my story's been, but maybe even worse or at some caliber at that. Like a lot of people don't realize it, but some of us are actually just out here fighting for our lives, like literally. So it's really nice to be able to wake up every day now and know that like I'm on the track to becoming the girl that I've always wanted to be. So it is I'm so humbled by that. Like that's something
Um,
that makes me so happy.
so for everyone, who just joined us, my guest, thank you for the follows and the subs and the bits. Thank you. Um, my guest is Moxley, Alexa, Alithara, syncridge. Kick.com/Moxley if somebody can shout out her actual channel, not on Twitch. Um, I oh well, let me just get this out of the way. They're amazing. They're like my role model. They're so sweet and kind and taught me what it's like to build a community and to do what you're passionate about. And I'll be honest, I don't really like to, talk about trans stuff or
Right.
feminine stuff unless people bring it up because I don't want to, out people or whatever. But I will say that you are one of the people that made me feel comfortable with my femininity, and
Oh,
I 100% mean that. And you were so
that,
sweet to me
that's so cute to hear.
um, when we first met, and yeah, I don't know, I adored you since the first day we met, and I thought it was
Oh,
so cool that you streamed. I literally thought it was the coolest thing. I was like, oh my god, they're streaming VRChat right now. Because I was talking, you were like, "Yeah, I'm streaming VRChat." I was like, "What? Check out your stream!" And they're streaming, and they had this like cute, I think a mask on or something, and you had cute thigh highs on or something on your face on your real IRL stream. I was like, "Oh my god, this is my hero." I was like, and
God.
you look so pretty, and
Oh, thank you.
you still do. I mean, but I, I, I get that. I mean, I wasn't an MMA fighter, but I get going through your youth and like your
For sure.
20s kind of going the other way, and kind of now I'm in my 30s and like figuring yourself out and kind of not really picking up the pieces in a way, but just finding what makes you happy and truly getting to be yourself. And I'm so happy that you're in a place where you have your own house and you can
Thank
you
you.
can and it's the camera, it's amazing. um so I guess shifting gears a little bit, you've obviously had an incredible journey here, and I have a feeling like you probably would you change anything? It seems like I don't think you would change anything. Do you think you?
Um, uh, I mean,
It's hard to say.
I'd probably have wanted to stay in school and
Yeah,
have a real job, which streaming is a real job, chat. It is. There's so
it's
much you put into it.
such a hard job.
Obviously, there's different elements of types of streamers, right? There are people who blink and have enough to pay off their mortgage. And then there's some of us that like, every other stream, someone like super supports us or even a little bit, and it's still enough to like sort of get by and things like that. But I do wish I would have got a real job and like learned more and figured out the world quite a bit. I bet my IQ is so low in so
No,
many ways because I missed out so much of
I don't
school.
think school's not the best indication of how smart you are. You're educated and you know some stuff about some stuff, but I always thought you were very eloquent and well spoken,
Thank you.
and I did not know you didn't finish high school. I thought you
Yeah.
like I didn't know that at all.
I'm one
And
of those people as well where I think that sometimes there's things that happen in your life that set you up for something greater. And I think that sometimes some of the bad that we go through in life is only to help us see what is good more. And maybe that good has always been there and you never were able to recognize it until you've experienced enough bad things that you realize there has been some good sort of floating around with you the whole time. And for me, I do think that a lot of things just happen for a reason. And I don't have any regrets. I wish I could have commenced some things a bit faster, but at the same time, like, yeah, I get through the day without dwelling on it too much, I guess.
yeah, yeah. I mean that yeah. I'm glad. So one of the big things I wanted to talk to you about, which I find incredibly fascinating, but before we do that, just so you guys know, I'm reading chat and I love you guys, and I'm so sorry I can't be as attentive as usual, but I want to listen to Alexa's story, and I think she's so fascinating. But I want to actually read some of the comments here that people made. AJ said, sometimes the self backlash before embracing transition do be wild. That's very true. But also, don't listen to her. She knows more about games and 3D tech and streaming and speaking than almost anyone on Earth, which I agree with. You're extremely knowledgeable about all of those things. The IQ system, hi Spyfox, sweetie. The IQ system is in no way an accurate measure for intelligence anymore. Completely agree with that. It needs to be updated at some point. I completely agree with that. I feel like you're just such a sweet and kind person, like a genuinely sweet person.
Thank you.
And I think it's those kinds of traits that are way more important than like knowing about fucking whatever politics or philosophy or math, you know. But I wanted to talk to you about, you're so cute, man.
No.
About Kick, about literally getting partnered on Kick. So as a Twitch streamer, I think most of you guys know this. There's a lot of things I want to say about Twitch that are negative. You get a 50-50 split, which sucks. And it is really hard to grow as both a variety streamer and a vrchat streamer. But you went to Kick, I think maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months. How long ago did you?
When the site launched, I had done some investigating. Like obviously I'd made my username and things like that, and I went undercover a little bit, and I did a couple of streams like on my own without my community knowing that I had like anything going on over there, and I tested the waters, and I had reasons for that. Like I like to keep my community safe, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't taking, you know, a lot of good people over to a place, even if it was for 1 or 2 streams where they would be targeted, right? Some of us are targeted every day just for literally being ourselves. So I wanted to make sure that that place could be moderated, at least by me, in a way where we would be okay.
Yeah.
And I figured out that I liked it, and the exposure was great. And some of the people that I was meeting there along the way was really, really cool too. So I was like, yeah, I think this is something I'd definitely like to give a shot. And I've been over there now for, I'd say, about 2 months.
Yeah. So your community's pretty much all there. I'm assuming you don't stream on Twitch anymore at all.
I've been doing some multi-streaming to try and gather up some people from Twitch who don't have me in Discord or Twitter, because I was just shocked by the amount of people who didn't even know that I was there, which is kind of sad and kind of obvious. But at the same time, it's like I wanted to make sure that, you know, everyone knows where I'm at. So I have been doing some multi-streaming to just remind people, like, we're going to be over here.
So that's interesting. So you're allowed to multi-stream on Kick as a Kick partner?
As a Kick partner, you can, but like, you know how Twitch is. Like,
as a Twitch
I'm pretty
partner,
sure affiliates and Twitch partners can't multi-stream. So,
but I mean, whatever. Like,
yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know who Moxley is. I'm alithara. What?
That's true.
We're not the same.
Yeah, I mean, I have a secondary name that I put over there because I've actually been thinking about, I mean, Twitch for me, you know, I've just put so much, you put so much effort into yours too, but I just feel like it'd be really hard to move over there.
I'll say this, for the advice that I have for people on switching from Twitch to Kick is there's factors that come into play where I would recommend that someone stay on Twitch versus going to Kick. Obviously, if you think that your whole community will shift over with you, I'd say do it.
Same,
but if you feel like there's going to be like some conflicting stuff about it, and you feel like you might lose a lot of what you've worked hard for on Twitch, I would say like you're okay where you are, but there's so many different things that will play into that, right? Like obviously, it's wonderful to know that people who support you and subscribe to you, it's wonderful for the viewer to know and you to know that a majority of it is going to you and not the platform itself.
Yeah.
So that is nice. But at the same time, like a lot of people will see all the other parts of Kick before they see that. I've had a lot of people actually message me and let me know that they would not be moving over to Kick, and they're people who were very, very supportive of me, like very much, like a huge chunk of support that I would receive. And they basically just told me like I will not be making the switch, and it's like I hate that we're even using that word, like making the switch. It's like
Yeah.
you just watch the stream, like you can just pull it up on another tab. It's really not hard to do at all. If you like that content creator and you like that streamer, you will easily do that without any hesitation. And
I agree.
obviously,
Yeah.
there's some pretty negative people on Kick, but
Yeah.
there are negative people here on this platform
On
at the
Twitch. For
same rate and
sure.
same amount.
Yeah.
And obviously, because one of them on Kick is featured a lot, and people see their clips a lot, and because they're the top streamer of Kick, it's easier for people to point their finger at that instead
Yeah.
of the thousands of the same type of bad people on Twitch.
Yeah.
Because they're so spread apart, it's hard for one of them to get the attention of the negativity at once. Whereas Aiden Ross
Yeah.
is just every other week, saying something horrible. But the way I see it is, if you have a heart and you care about content creators, if someone were to make that switch over to that platform, let them represent it for you. Let them
Yeah.
being supported more be the outlook that you have. And I told my community, I said, this is an opportunity for you to support me more if you would like, or even support me less than you usually would on Twitch, so that we can literally just essentially stay in the same place financially that we were on Twitch,
Hmm.
and you spend less. So I was basically saying to people who support me a lot that if you really wanted to have the option, you could support me less and I would still be okay.
Yeah.
So that was wholesome for me. And when I saw that as an opportunity as well, it was really cool for me to be able to tell people who have supported me for years now that, like, hey, if you would like to tone it down, this is the place where you can do that.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention earlier, I said Twitch has a 50-50 split but for people who don't know, and I feel like most of you do know, but if you don't, Kick has a 95% 5% split for creators for subs, which is insane over 50-50, and I think that's a big draw for them to bring streamers in. I mean, I don't think it's sustainable, but it's what it is right now, and I think it's amazing, and I want you to make all the money you can. Um, So I mean, let's talk about some of the things you like about Kick that are different. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more. I mean, not a lot more freedom, but there is more freedom, right? Like,
There is more freedom, which they are cracking down on quite a bit in terms of. I'm sorry, I'm just rapidly losing tracking here.
no,
There's a
you're
lot
cool.
of freedom that you have on the platform, but they are starting to crack down on it a little bit more, which is okay, but it's also has to do with the mobile app being published on the Apple App Store. They have
Mm,
like TOS that has to be basically watched over. So
right.
um,
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
it mainly had to do with like the hot tub streamers and things like that.
Yeah.
But it does still signal on over to the VRChat streamers. Like you used to be able to just have pasties on.
Hmm.
Now there are staff coming into VRChat streams saying you need to put a little bit more on.
Oh.
But I
Okay.
have to admit, despite all of that, having staff come in your chat and warn you instead of banning you and you getting an automated response for the next 6 months trying to figure out
Gosh.
why you were banned
Yeah.
is already just night and day better. Having
Yes.
that transparency of like what's going on and what you're in trouble for is great.
Yeah.
I actually have a false ban on my Twitch account for something that I absolutely did not do whatsoever. And like I would just come clean and be honest and be like, "Oh, I definitely did that." But there was a moment where I was uh, mass reported by bots when I was just standing there doing nothing, and they banned me, and my account permanently has a strike on it. I can't upload emotes the way I would like to. I can't have follower emotes, and I have contacted Twitch over and over. And you'd think somebody that had been broadcasting for 8+ years on their platform could get a little bit of a response or an answer to something that they've almost thrown a decade away to. and they've just completely avoided the conversation with me. And basically, they have just told me, we have no information on why you have the strike anymore, but we can't remove it. And it's like bots,
Yeah,
the thing that
it's
is
ridiculous.
plaguing your site and VR streamers alike, not just, non-binary people or trans people. Everyone in that directory gets hit every now and then with bots and things like that.
Yeah,
And they just refuse to give me any sort of closure on the whole thing. So I do hold a bit of a grudge
I don't
with
blame
Twitch for
you.
just, it's like, dang, I guess my time spent here has just been nothing. And as a streamer who has consistently, held almost 2,000 active subs, you would think that they would say, which is very small for a streamer on Twitch when you think about all the other,
Still
Kai and all
so
those people
much,
that have
but yeah,
wild amounts, but you would think that they would say this person is sustainable enough that we could react to it. But that itself is so sad that I would even have to contemplate or think that they would pay attention to me because of my sub count, and
yeah,
that they would just kind of let me know what's going on. So it is nice that Kick has staff that will tell you, if you don't do this, we're going to ban you. So they're telling you, like, fix it now or we'll fix it for you.
yeah.
I like that.
I
I,
like
I
that
like that.
too.
And I've talked to a couple of the uh, Kick staff before with questions I've had to make sure something was okay that I was afraid of doing or this or that. And I've gotten like some no's and some okays, but just having those answers are wonderful. So I gotta say, having staff that are active and not kind of like zombies are nice. And I'm sure there are wonderful staff on Twitch, and some of those things the staff can't answer themselves, right? Like, I don't
Yeah,
really think a Twitch staff could actually tell me what's going on with my strike on my account. I think it's more of an internal issue that somebody else has to figure out.
yeah. It's just it's so convoluted, and there's so many barriers up, and like yeah, even Twitch staff doesn't really know what's going on.
Right.
And I was supposed to address the elephant in the room. Thank you, by the way, AJ, for all the subs. Yes, yes, and this is a fair criticism of Kick. I think it's fair, but it is backed by a gambling company, and it does heavily promote gambling, and that's I think how they try to make their money. But that
Right.
being said, you're kidding yourself if you think Amazon is that wholesome of a company.
Exactly. And to be honest, if you asked any of my Kick viewers if turning on my stream and watching it has had anything to do with gambling, has there been
Right.
any ads of
Yeah.
gambling, has there been anything at all that has made you feel influenced to gamble, they're going to say no. And when I open up Kick as well, you do see gambling streamers, but I don't see any ads telling me to gamble. I don't see
Yeah.
the top streamers gambling.
I agree.
They're all
Yeah.
doing like IRL, and they're not doing anything any better than gambling. Some of them are still doing some pretty gnarly stuff, don't get me wrong. But I'll say this. There are people out there that have this wild conspiracy that the site's just instantly going to flunk. Well, if there's one thing in this life that will always be around in this country, maybe not anywhere else, it is gambling. It's sustainable because losers make money for them, and there will always be losers. In this life, people have to lose. So the sustainability comes from the gambling for sure, which is dark. I think gambling in general is a really bad thing, and there are a lot of people who definitely ruin their lives on gambling. And I will never, ever gamble, ever. That's just, I have so many more things that I could probably try and figure out other than that. But for sure, I don't think I've ever felt any sort of pressure to do any sort of gambling. My viewers definitely have not. And other streamers that I've jumped in on as well to watch, it's like, this is going to sound kind of cringe, but I forget that the gambling aspect has ever even been a part of it to begin with, which is,
No, I don't think
that's
it's
okay.
cringe at all. I think you're really enjoying yourself, and I'm like, there was some pretty shady stuff on Justin TV back in the day.
For sure.
Guys. Like, I'm not promoting gambling. I think that is a fair criticism against it, and it makes me worried about the long-term viability of Kick. But I want I don't want Aiden Ross to succeed, but I want you to succeed. I want Lockie to succeed.
Don't worry, I'm pretty sure Aiden Ross is a ticking time bomb. They're just digging a hole that's going to essentially knock them out of being able to do a whole lot of anything in terms of streaming platforms, etc., etc. So
yeah, and what you were saying and what AJ is saying, like, I think what you said is accurate. If you care about the content creator, you'll support them no matter what platform they're on. But the reason why I bring it up is because Seahorse said it, and I think a lot of people are just like very, 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 very turned off by that on the platform, which I think is fair, which is unfortunate because people like you are succeeding, and I love to see it. I love to see creators get an opportunity on another platform. That
right,
is
and
actually,
I think that's the important part of it. And I think that if you can't see it for that, then there's probably going to be a lot of other things in your life that you're going to disagree with that still help other people too, unfortunately.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to. I don't. This is a conversation in itself, but yeah, like Amazon's not a very wholesome place. You know, your iPhone was made by slave labor probably, and yada yada yada. It goes down the line, and I'm not saying that justifies anything, but I'm just saying
They're both evil. You just have to choose which one, sadly. Like they both have plenty of evil. Like you said, basically practically everything around us has some sort of bad origin.
yeah, which sucks. I'm not condoning that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
right.
that doesn't make it better, but I'm just saying see the good in things, and yeah. Kick did clean up from the first month, the straight up adult content and 24-hour television movie streams. Yeah, I was thinking about streaming some movies. No, just kidding. Just joking. It usually comes down to the lesser evil, which I agree with. Yeah, you know. As long as I feel like, you know, you're trying your best to be a good person. Like AJ said, you're not promoting gambling, you're not promoting self-harm or anything
Right.
like that. So yeah, I would love to see how quickly I get banned from Destiny. Okay, I have no idea who that is. Oh my god, Justin TV. That website's the reason I got into anime and realized I was trans. Wow, both those things. I don't know what made me realize I was trans. Probably just being trans. As someone from Seattle, any evil other than Amazon feels like a lesser evil. Amazon is incredibly evil.
Yeah, they're like an empire.
There's
It's like a whole empire.
it's like, I wouldn't say it's slave labor, but the people who like work at Amazon tell me
Yeah, I've had
how
like,
horrible it is, and like
I had a
people
friend. They were
passing
like, "Well,
out and, like,
I peed in 4 water bottles today," and I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "We don't get restroom breaks," and I was like, "That is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard." What?
That's pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, twitch.tv. Twitch.tv, beacon of, you know, upstandingness. If Kick does fall, at least enjoy the ride and profit while I can. We're not contractually tied to Kick.
Exactly.
I think that's your stance on it, right? You're just giving it a go, and
Yeah, it's only a plus. Like I can only have gained from it, in my honest opinion.
yeah, worst case
And
you go
even
back,
if I have to come back to Twitch, well, while I've lost people from Twitch, they'll probably more than likely come back because I'm kind of cute. But people from
know, I
Kick who have
suppose, yeah.
jumped on the train with me will now more than likely move over with me because they
Well,
won't have
Kick's
any other
gone.
way to see a lot of the people they watch, not just me, you know, other people.
Yeah.
So you only can gain from it, in my honest opinion. You can only gain from it. And the exposure has been nice, I can't lie. Like being able to like stream VR chat and things like that and have the directory not bury me as much. Same with Fortnite. They have their own VTuber category I've been streaming in a lot. And that's been cool. So people that specifically want to look for VTubers, there is a category just for that where you can basically do whatever you want as long as you're VTubing. So I think that is cool.
Yeah. I think that's super cool. I just love a lot of the stuff they do there. And yeah, there's some stuff I really don't like, but
For sure.
I love that staff goes in there. I love that you can stream, and like you said, you're representing VR chat. Are you the top VR chat streamer there?
I wouldn't
That's
say
maybe, like-
anymore, but I would say when I do stream in that category, I more than likely am. But there are quite a few people over there now that have started to migrate over. There's a lot of the Gator crew that are over there now, and
Mm-hmm.
some of them look kind of suspicious, like they're up to something that's boosting a bit, but at the same
Sure.
time, like I mean, I don't know that. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot going on over there still. There's a lot of people who I don't know if it's just like a VR chat streamer thing, but there's a lot of VR streamers who will have the rules placed right in front of them, and they'll still just turn around and go and do the exact thing they were just told not to do. And then they cry for like 20 days about how this happened to them and I got banned for this or that. And it's like, yeah, but you did everything you were not supposed to. Like,
Right.
you set yourself up. Don't be mad at them. Be mad at yourself for thinking that you could get by with it.
Hi, everybody. I'm old girls. Today's guest is my lovely friend Alexa, aka Moxley, kick.com/Moxley. Thank you for the water redeem. For everyone who's just joining us, I am doing an interview right now, so I apologize if I'm not the most active in chat. It's my lovely friend of like, oh god, almost 5 years now, which is crazy.
It's probably more than that at this point.
I take Mox. Do you know Mox Enderfox? Hello, Enderfox. Thank you for the water redeem. Okay, I'm still giggling. AJ said this. I'm still giggling about being trans. Made me realize I was trans. Yeah, true. True. They're a horrible empire that we all still use / support. Yeah, exactly. I worked at an Amazon
Because of the
warehouse.
people like this. That's why. Why else would we, right?
You?
No, you.
Me?
Wonderful people like this are why we do it.
You're
So.
trans too? Well, this is a very safe. I'm glad we're all trans and super happy here. Happy to be trans here. Well, welcome, Ender Fox. And thank you for the follows, Legend. Legend on FN and Justice1234. So can you tell me the story of like how you got partnered on Kick and what your journey's been like? What you started streaming is just the same thing, variety. Like,
So they set the standard pretty recently of the requirements to get verified and things like that. But when I first jumped in, there was no roadmap. There was nothing that actually like no one knew.
Oh gosh.
So I had
Sorry.
I emailed one of the staff about my application for the affiliate program. And I'd basically showed them my Twitch credentials and showed them that I'd been streaming for close to 10 years. And I basically said that I think that if there was a way to apply for something like the partner program or being verified, that would be nice. And they heard my story of like how long I had been streaming and things like that. And they went ahead and verified me. And it's, you know, a lot of people have not had that same reaction from the staff due to people finding out that you could basically apply without an application. And that's what I did. I applied that way. And they were super nice to me. They checked out my Twitch and things like that, and they were like, "We're gonna go ahead and do this now for you." So I was actually, Rafflegator was the first verified VR chat streamer and Kick, which is no surprise. Like they were probably verified before they even went live. But I was the second VR chat streamer to be verified.
It's pretty awesome.
And for a long time, like, and now people are finally starting to get it. Lockie, a friend of mine named Rue, and those are all wonderful people who should have had it, if not right after me or before. Like, they are all wonderful people who have put in a lot of time on places like Twitch and things like that, where I guess our efforts aren't exactly seen the same. For me personally, I think having to have 75 viewers consistently on Twitch to get partner is brutal.
It's
because
brutal.
what is that really doing for Twitch as a site? I think they should have looked at more of like the people who contribute to you and like your consistency, because more than likely, more than half of those 75 viewers are just there to watch. They're not going to support the platform. They may not even sub, which there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Watching and enjoying a stream for free is one of the many privileges that you get, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And giving attention to a streamer, typing in chat or lurking, that is support. That's the same thing.
For
But I
sure.
do think that they need to have a better system that looks more into what's helping their site. And I don't think having 75 viewers does anything. I think that years active, consistency, and them seeing people support you quite a bit. Like, for me personally, it sounds very pay to win, but I think having 2,000 subs for 3 years in a row sounds like someone needs to probably like have a loyalty system in place, not for me, but for the people who have supported me. It's those people who have put me on that pedestal, and it's owed to them more than it is the streamer at that point. It's kind of wild how just because there's not a bunch of, randoms watching that may even be phantom viewers who don't even have an account, they don't follow, things like that. Because I've done a lot of research on view counts, and sometimes what you see, you almost have to cut it in half, sadly, because it's like some of those people may actually not even be real. And the streamer is never usually the one behind that, by the way. People will take your stream and embed it. They'll put it on sites and things like that, and it will create phantom viewers without you even knowing, without your consent and everything. I've seen it happen to a lot of people. But at the same time, like if it's helped the streamer propel, like I guess that's good, because that's the way I see it. Regardless of anything, if it puts a wholesome, nice broadcaster in a better place, then I'm completely okay with that, because people work really hard that are content creators, and it doesn't matter what content you see them dishing out. It could be like just chatting content, VR chat content. If they show up all the time and they are in high spirits for you, they are trying their best to create a realm for you to feel the same way. They're trying to push their energy onto you, and I think that that's a hardworking streamer for sure. And O-Girls is a great example that I can use of somebody that will try and take their energy and push it over to chat. And it's obvious, right, that not every viewer in our chat is going to be having a good day or be happy or be happy-go-lucky, but to be able to try and project some of what you have onto them, it does work sometimes, and that's a really good feeling. I think O-Girls is a great representation of somebody that is able to push over their mood onto other people, especially when it's like wholesome and comforting, because they have such a comforting voice, and their atmosphere is always really cozy. And I've caught myself having like a really bad day or like being sad about something, and when I've pulled up their stream and just heard them like interacting with people and talking, and they could just be blabbing about something, and it really has made me comfy many times. And that's my favorite thing about being a viewer. And that's one cool part about like being a full-time streamer, is still knowing how to be a viewer and enjoy a stream on the other side of the screen.
Right.
So it's so wonderful. And O-Girls has been a really good reminder to me that it's okay for me some days to just be a viewer and soak in the happiness that they're producing for all of us that are enjoying them.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
Comfy, cozy, inclusive, supportive vibes are priceless. Yeah, they are, and oh, you're so sweet. I got those vibes from you and a lot of other streamers that not a lot of, but some other streamers that I watched. I just, want people to feel comfy, and I might not be having the best day, but I always feel like.
But you still show up trying your best to smile so that you can try to make other people smile, despite what you might have just been feeling 5 minutes before hitting that button and going live.
Yeah.
I sense that from you. I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, you're the same way, I think, but I think you. AJ said, well, it's wild. Yeah, it's wild that viewer count doesn't necessarily have anything to do with support levels or engagement levels. That is so true. Like, I've seen streamers who have like thousands of viewers, and their monthly gifted sub count is like
Is very
10.
low,
It's like 10 or something.
right?
Like it's really low.
And bless their heart, they're having to put up with a lot of crazy people in their chat all the time, every day. They probably have nightmares of that chat just flowing. And then
Yeah.
they've probably made $30 in the last 20 days.
Not all games are equal. VRC is very support heavy but lower view count. I kind of love that about vrchat.
Hmm.
I kind of love how supportive the community is. Yeah, it's well. Oh wait, I read that. Well, and both of you two do so much to make people feel like they can comfortably be themselves. I think we'll never know the value to society that gives. Aw.
Aw.
Yeah, and I felt that way while watching you. Someone that inspired me was like Artsy, and Hafu is one of a big inspiration of mine, and like I don't know, I loved streamers that were super inclusive and super just loving. Like I get when somebody's so big that they can't, they can't reach
Right, like it
out.
just hits a point where it's impossible to even see what's going on.
Yeah. I don't know. But I always felt happy when people would chat with me, instead of just going somewhere and being ignored. And I think that's a huge reason why I stream the way that I do. And you're the same way. You always chat with everybody who lurks. And I don't think you let a single message go by. And I feel like I'm the same
But I
way.
do. I feel so bad. Oh my gosh. I'll be like, are
Yeah.
they still here? I panic, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh
yeah, I do
no.
that too. I'm like 15 minutes behind chat. I'm like, yeah.
I read chat backwards sometimes too, which is a horrible thing.
Sometimes you have to, though, because
Yeah.
um, do you get anything extra? Let's go back to Kick. Do you get anything extra as a Kick partner? Like, what are the benefits?
There's a new thing that is being rumored, which I did confirm with a staff member is supposed to actually happen. And this is something that is actually confusing for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they will do it, but people who can hold up to 100 viewers or more, or stream consistently was what they said, which I didn't exactly know what they meant by that. That could mean very many things. They want to pay partnered streamers hourly for streaming.
That's so cool.
Is that not the coolest thing ever? Like, that's like the future, in my opinion. Not having to rely on the people all the time that are in your chat and community to be able to just do it and hourly make something, right? And who knows, it may be terrible. They might be like, you'll make $1 every 2 hours, something silly like that. But I do think that it's going to be pretty beefy. Like, I do. I think someone said that, like, it will be quite a bit hourly, but it's still that's still a challenge, right? To have 100+ viewers still. It's still, there's a barrier blocking that, but I don't know where they will find the ability to pay everyone like that. But yeah, that is pretty insane, and they haven't really they haven't come out with their bits system yet. They're going to be called kicks. How weird is that? But those are going to be a thing pretty soon, so people can still support in the form of like bits, like on Twitch. So that will be a thing.
Actually paying your broadcasters rather than making them work on commission? What an idea.
Right? That's wild.
Yeah. What else was I gonna ask you? So what have you been streaming recently? I've been streaming. I've been streaming a lot of VRchat, but
So far, the
Fortnite.
only two things that I've ever streamed on Kick are VRchat and Fortnite.
Which
And I'm a semi-pro Fortnite player, so I do stay consistent, and I do play an awful lot. So
which do you think have you been doing better on? And which
I would definitely say VRchat. I've been doing much, much better on, for sure.
Yeah. How would you is the VRChat community there different than Twitch? Like, how have you noticed any similarities? Any differences?
It's very small, but they're all very supportive of each other, which is really nice to see because something on Twitch, and this is a compliment to everyone that streams VRChat and streamers alike. There are so many wonderful choices of streamers on Twitch and in VRChat that sometimes people like me don't get to collab or basically network as much.
Mm.
So on Twitch, like I rarely ever get rated. Like I mean rarely ever.
Mm.
It's really barren, and it does make me a little sad, but at the same time, it makes me happy that there are that many good streamers on the VR chat category that it just makes sense to me how I would be overshadowed by many other wonderful choices. But yeah, I've noticed that I'm now being hosted slash rated more than ever, which is,
That's
something I
great.
just really didn't happen a lot on Twitch. I would beat myself up for that sometimes too. I'd feel sad, like,
Aw.
dang, I guess there's something intimidating here that um, people don't want to send their communities over for. And I did have a small conspiracy where people are afraid to raid me. And there is some logic behind raiding certain people, right? And in my honest opinion, you have to be careful who you raid. I learned this quite some time ago. It is a known fact that some people that you raid, you lose viewers to forever. They will never
Oh.
come back to your chat because they found the next best thing that they like more. Which, hey, that's it. If they like that flavor better, then of course that's where they're going to stay. But
Yeah.
sometimes when you raid people, you're throwing your community at them, and sometimes you lose parts of that. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, if that person raids you back, it might be kind of balanced. You might gain some people from their community. But in my experience, it's never happened in return and things like that, which
No.
it doesn't have to, right? No one should feel obligated to raid someone back just because they raided you. But I've lost more than I've gained for sure. And there's been
No.
streams where I have, I think a couple years ago, I streamed for 15 hours and didn't see an inch of support, which, once again, that's an optional thing. And you should be perfectly fine with going through any stream without receiving any sort of financial support. Because if you have passion for streaming, that's not something that is lurking on your mind. But I remember streaming for 15 hours, and a core of my chat, the person we rated, was way bigger, and they just went crazy and just sub bombed the living hell out of this person and were donating like crazy. And I was like, holy hell, they all just spent 15 hours with me and nothing happened. And I raid this one person, and they're having an
Oh.
auction. But at the same time, like, it was just one of those things. It humbles you. It's like, I don't know what this person's been through that they're supporting. Maybe they
Yeah.
could use it more than me. I have no clue who that person is or what they're about. But it was something that was like, ouch, holy shit, I must suck or something at what I'm doing over here. If, 2 minutes of them being over there, they're going crazy.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And that's why I think rating people is dangerous. But for me, when you get to know somebody and they're genuinely not just another streamer to you and they're like a friend of yours, oh, I raid in a heartbeat. People like you, I don't
Oh.
even think twice
You're
about
so
it.
sweet.
Lockie or
Yeah.
Kitty King or my brother, I don't even think twice about it. But if I feel like, because let's be honest, there are people within every community that are gullible. And I feel bad for those people. I'm like, you should save and take care of yourself more. And they're just wild and they go all out for people all the time. And it makes me feel so bad. And it happens a lot. Like even on Kick, I'll raid someone and oh my God, my chat. I'm like, oh my God, cuties, slow down, slow down. Like we're here to vibe. Let's just get to know them first, at least. Oh my gosh, you don't even know who you're subbing to. You don't even know who you're contributing to yet. I think that they should contribute to that person, but I think you should wait. Figure out if you actually like them a little bit more. Put a little bit of a timer on yourself there. I get it, their avatar's cute. But slow down. But yeah, Kick is very supportive when it comes to networking from what I've seen. I practically have at least spoken to almost all of the VR chat streamers there at least once. And yeah, it's a very small circle. So it is cool. And one of them had a conversation with me that was quite funny. They were like, we all stream at different times, and we could just um, continue that and just keep throwing our communities onto each other as we make our exit. And I was like, that's wild and very true. But then there's me, the vampire of the night, who wakes up at 8 p.m. at night and streams until 4 in the morning or 6 in the morning, and then I don't go to bed until like 1 p.m. Ugh. So I have no schedule. That's something that I've never had in the amount of time that I've been a streamer. I've had no schedule ever. I've
Yeah.
just been super freestyle about going live. So that's a flaw of mine I should probably fix is having a schedule, but yeah.
Yeah.
I just kind of just go with the flow. I think that comes from the passion portion of me streaming is I just I still have so much fun with it after so long, and I enjoy it so much that I try not to incorporate too many things that make it too serious, like a schedule and stuff like that. Because I just had, it's one of those things where I've just enjoyed and had so much fun with it for so long that I guess I've never gotten super serious about some things that I should.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I thought something was really cute that AJ said. The wildest thing about the VRC community on Kick is that so far, the vast majority of people I've met there are all trans,
Yep.
which is kind of cool. I like
Hmm.
that. I didn't know that. Yeah, I think people overthink why people sub. A lot of the time, it's to get a cute emote. Sometimes, I don't really know.
Yeah. There's many reasons.
There's many reasons. That and from being an adorable vampire. Yeah, that's true. What time did you
God.
wake up today?
Today, specifically just for you, I woke up.
Oh my god,
I woke up at 5 p.m.
my heart.
I went to sleep early last night and I set an alarm and I heard it beeping and I was like, and then I went, oh, girls, you're lucky, you're so cute. And I rolled out of bed with both of my cats staring at me, judging my every move because I looked like a zombie.
Your cats are. How many cats do you have again?
I have 2 cats and they're both sisters from the same litter and I recently got them. I want to say, it was well before I moved out of my apartment. So I don't know how many months now, but they were little babies when I got them. And oh my gosh, they've gotten so big.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cute. Pumpkin
Pumpkin
and
and pudding. That's their
Aw,
names.
that's
Pudding
really...
is so fat and it's cute.
Really?
She's just so chubby. Out
Yeah.
of nowhere, she got so fat. And I'm like, look at you, double chin. Oh. She'll just be looking at me, judging me, and I'm like, come here. But Pumpkin's the affectionate one. I can't go a single night without her sleeping right here. Her little face has to be pressed on mine. It's so cute.
That's
She
really...
loves me.
Hello everybody. Sleepy Doge. Hi Mika Bunny. Hi Leighton Logic. Hi everyone. My guest today is Moxley, aka Alithara, aka Syncridge. And we're just talking all sorts of stuff. I need to drink some water real quick. Are you
Oh my
okay?
gosh, me too.
Yeah, get some water. My water bottle right now is like pipe. It's like filled with. Hold on. It's filled with like boiling hot water. So I need to drink something else right now. Oh my god. Ah! Somebody's sending me 12 snaps. Okay. Uh-oh. It's the wrong camera. Hey, Lurf Cape. Hi, AG. I hope you guys are all doing well. I've had quite an interesting day. I guess I went and got a massage. That was really nice. So I feel like I'm very, like, chill and, like, almost ready to go to bed. Hi, Real Deal. Thank you, AJ, for all the subs today, and Latent Logic for the 100 bits, Gumi for the sub, Kiro for the sub, Tori for the sub. Blue Leader, thank you for the follow. It's good to see you again, too. I just got a moment to hide at work. Aww. Alithara Sensei is also Syncridge Sensei. Go men for mishearing. Yeah, well, when I met them, she went by Syncridge. And, they've honestly been so supportive of me for so long, and they're such a good person that I wanted, well, selfishly, I wanted to hear about your journey, and I feel like I've learned more about you today than I probably have our entire friendship. Thank you for shouting out Mika Bunny. She's so cute. Oh, you came from Kohai stream. Kohai. Lerp Cape, Kohai. It's my Kohai Charlotte. Here's a random question. I'm going to take it back to VR. How do you think, because I ask everybody this, and I feel like it's somewhat relevant since we're hanging out here. Do you think VR has helped you in any way, socializing or discovering yourself? Or
I would definitely say it's done more good for me than bad, and without it, I wouldn't have a sweetheart like AJ in my life without VR. So I owe everything to VR, like literally everything. Like that person has, oh my gosh, they've bent over backwards for me for the last like 3 years, and I don't think I could ever explain to them how much I love them and how much I love VR for being able to showcase them, or at least showcase me to them so they even knew I existed. So it's hard to not get feelsy talking about it, but like I just I owe a lot to VR and VRChat for sure. A lot of my lifelong best friends have come from VRChat for sure.
Wait, AJ said she's pretty dang charming in VRC, which I've only met her one time in VRC on New Year's, but I adored the hell out of her, and I have ever since I guess first met her just in chat. She's such a sweetheart and lovely voice. They're so comfy and sweet and supportive. How long have you known each other now? Like a few years?
I met AJ, I believe, in 2020 during like the pandemic era. I for sure that's when they stumbled upon me. So
yeah,
it's been quite some time now, and I'm not even like trying to make them gush at all, but my life ever since meeting them has just been 1,000 times better, and my happiness has been at an all-time peak. Like, and that's such a wonderful thing that you can meet someone and then produce so many good feelings for you, and they've helped me experience so many things that I thought were just impossible, and they've made so many things happen for me, and I love them with all my heart. I do. They have my heart forever. They could disappear and never talk to me again, but my heart would just be right there with them the whole time.
Yeah. Aww. I don't think she would ever disappear. She's
same. They have big mom vibes. They if anything, they pester me more than walking away.
Nira, hi. Our meme for years has been that I'm just as much a mom as a girlfriend. I could see that. She's so motherly. I'm a VRC gremlin. What does that mean? I never use that term gremlin. Do you ever use that term? I never
yeah.
What does it even mean?
It's basically when I would call being a gremlin like a friendly troll. Like you poke fun, or for me, sometimes I blab and make little strange noises and sounds that I usually typically wouldn't make. And that's definitely gremlin me.
Oh, you're my gremlin. Wait, who's spying Ostrich? They know you. Did they know?
Ostrich is one of my best friends who I also met
Oh,
during 2020. Lockdown had introduced them to me, and they have just been one of the sweetest people I've ever known. They're quite the
really?
mystery at the same time,
Yeah.
but oh my goodness,
Yeah,
like
they hang
I,
out
I
in
would,
VRC apparently.
yep, all the time. They're one of my most active VR chat friends. Anytime I'm in VR chat and there's even a minute that I feel lonely, which happens sometimes, I don't really have a lot of people who want to join on me or anything. Ostrich is always there, always, and I wouldn't have it any other way if that's how it is. Like I appreciate their company so much, and I would do anything for them, and they know that.
Yeah.
They are absolutely wonderful. They have definitely been one of the sweetest people ever, and they're so cute. Their charisma in VR chat is wild. They don't even have to say anything, and you're just like, "How are you this cute?" Ow.
Me, Moxley, and Ostrich are sort of like VRC sisters. Aw.
Yep.
When will I get to hang out with A on June in VR chat again? Why
They're on
so?
a bit of a hiatus of VR. They've got some stuff going on
That's fair.
visually that is kind of keeping them out of VR. Trust me,
Uh,
I'm withdrawing. I'm like, is
yeah.
it time to begin VR with me?
I should be able to get back in July and August. Well, please, like, take care of your health, sweetie. Like, that's the most important
Exactly.
thing.
That's why I don't give them a hard time about it. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I fully understand. And I'll say this, as someone that's been using VR headsets since 2017, for long amounts of times, I'm not gonna lie, I have hit a stage where I do feel a bit of VR after effects that are for sure permanent.
Yeah, like
So I
what?
will say this, these things are not good for you. I mean,
No, they're not.
in all honesty, like who would ever think that, having a screen on your eyes is okay for you? We're probably emitting so much radiation straight into our
Oh
face.
no, I don't want to hear
It's so
that. That's
it's so
true.
true though. It's so true.
Oh man, my brain.
Yep.
I do.
So after doing it for so long, I have noticed that I get eye strain a lot faster, and uh, sometimes I get out of VR chat and I just have a headache. So it's frustrating, but
Yeah. Um, what was I gonna say? I can't even think because my brain is fried from being in
I'm
VR
sorry. No brain,
radiation.
come back.
I I feel exhausted after using VR for X amount
Yeah,
of time. Like I
for
just
sure.
and there are people who are, I don't know how many hours you have at this point. People with like 20,000 hours or
Right.
something, and like what is their brain like? It's probably melted.
Yes, for sure.
Come back, brain,
That's why I
come
can't
back.
wait for the big screen beyond. I pre-ordered it the second they were announced because it's just a smaller headset, and the smaller these things can get, and the more lightweight they can get, the more comfy overall they will be. And I've hit a point where I'm satisfied with VR technology. I just want it to be more comfy. There's nothing comfy about having this thing on my head all the time. Like there's just nothing. But this headset has really kind of set the standard that things are going to start to cater towards being comfy as well.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that soon I will have that.
When is that coming out again?
Since I'm on the first batch list, I will probably get mine sometime in July, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they will email me to 3D scan my face so that they can make the custom face plate. So I'm gonna guess when I get that email is right before I'm about to get it.
Leighton Logic asks, which headset are you on now?
I am on the Valve Index.
Yeah, solid headset there. What was your first VR headset? You said an Oculus CV1?
Yeah, CV1
Oh
Oculus. Then I
man,
got a
classic
Vive
headset.
Pro, and then I
Yeah.
went from Vive Pro to the Index. And I also have a Quest 2, but that was given to me for free by a YouTuber who does I can't say their name because they were not supposed to do this, but they did. They gave me their test model of the Quest 2. So I use that for movies.
Yeah, movies. You know, speaking of VR pornography, I haven't watched it in a long time. But
It's not bad stuff.
it's not bad stuff. I haven't watched it in a while, but
I like it. There's no going back once you do.
I remember the first time I even heard about it. It was like the only thing I wanted to do. I was like, oh, how do I set this up? This is. I think we've all been there. I remember reading a thread about it when people were like, uploading files. They're like, this is gonna ruin the planet or something. Like this is.
I can't lie. Like I said, there's no going back.
There's no going back. Yeah.
No.
It's pretty immersive there.
It is. It's really, especially when you pay the subscription for the full 4K.
4K, just degenerate virtual. The future is now.
Oh God.
Yeah. Do you do? Maybe I shouldn't ask that. I don't know.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
Oh, do you do like OnlyFans stuff? Do you do like?
So I used to do OnlyFans.
Yeah.
But due to some credentials, they locked me out of my OnlyFans, which it didn't do fantastic, and I didn't put a lot of content on there. There was a very famous pool table scene that a lot of people remember, though. And that was not VR, by the way. It was all IRL stuff.
Yeah.
But I am going to be picking that stuff back up on a different site, a different one, very soon. So, yeah.
Okay. Pogging. I'll be excited for that announcement. I'm so hungry. Are you a good cook? I feel like you're a good cook.
I can cook pretty well.
Yeah. Do you eat?
Now,
like...
AJ, what a chef.
Yeah, whenever she talks about what she's making, it's like some Michelin star level
sometimes
dish.
they'll
I'm
say
like,
something, and I'm like, Mommy, could you repeat what you just said? Because I have no idea what that is.
True. Yeah, she'll use some pretty fancy ingredients. Like AJ, what did you make for dinner today? It was probably like something they served at like
something in, they're gonna
French
put something wild in
or something. Yeah.
I'm like, I had Subway the other day.
Oh, that kind of sounds good.
I know.
What did you make? I guess you didn't make much today. What was the most recent thing that you made that you really like?
Here lately things have been a little too healthy to be
That's
appealing.
Not good, though. I'm curious about it because I'm trying to get healthy too. So
I like making and while people might say this is unhealthy, for keto it's not, but a bacon weave with Brussels sprouts on top of it.
That sounds so good. I'm doing keto
so
as
good.
well. That sounds great.
Oh my gosh. The Brussels sprouts, they soak up some of the bacon juice.
Yeah, they're a great combination, bacon and Brussels sprouts. Oh, God.
So many people don't like Brussels sprouts.
I don't get it. They're so good. They're so good.
And
who doesn't like Brussels sprouts
Green food is
Someone
good
do
for
a poll.
You.
Poll, please. Angel Tail, can you make a poll? Do you like Brussels sprouts? Yes or no? I'm making test batches of the herb zone. Italian herb and wild greens pie? What does that even mean? I'm catering for dinner.
They're making Genshin food right now. They're actually just, they've gathered up all their materials and they're just like, all right, time to conjure this up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I make like pot roast and stuff like that. I can make really, really good filet mignon. But here lately, like everything's just been very bland, boring food because I have been on a wild fit kick. Like I have been.
I'm so proud.
Oh my gosh, it's to a point where like I don't have big cravings for a lot of junk food lately. But someone will bring up pizza, and I'm like, I swear.
Yeah,
I'm gonna snap.
One of the ones
I'm gonna snap, and there's gonna be one at my doorstep. And knowing me, I would take like 4 bites of it and be full.
I need to get like, I need to learn how to make like homemade like cauliflower pizza or something like that.
Yeah, cauliflower pizza's not bad. It's not the greatest, but it passes. I think it's okay.
I think like doing keto, I'm just happy with stuff that like is a substitution. You know, like
yeah, there's a lot of good keto substitute like snacks out there too. I get these little things. They're it's like a chocolate peanut butter cup kind of thing. And every now and then when I'm super craving something sweet, I'll eat one and it takes care of my craving.
Yeah, I'm the same way. That's me. I bring up pizza. That's Flying Ostrich. Who says they use an
Ostrich,
AI
how
voice?
could you?
They use an AI voice too, so they use an AI voice.
It matches them pretty well too. It's super cute.
Mm.
Although their real voice is just as pretty to me.
Oh, Pog. Apparently, Brussels sprouts have become less. You know what I was actually thinking earlier? You have a really cute accent.
What kind of accent?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think I know what state you're from, but it's like I don't know. It's like Midwest
how would you just?
question mark. It's not really Midwest. It's just you. I don't know.
Do you think it's like
I don't know.
hillbilly type redneck accent? Maybe.
No, not at all.
Thank God. Oh,
No, not at all.
people call me cornbread girl all the time
What
because
the
of
hell
where I
does that
live.
mean?
Well, it's an inside joke, so it's funny. I go along with it.
Paul,
But
ding
yeah.
dong. Thank you, Bob Sue. Hi, Silent Lotus. All right, I need to know. Do you guys like Brussels sprouts or not? Pile them on my plate. I'll eat them if I must. No, thank you. Bitter balls of sadness. Who picked that? Who picked that and wrote that? Pile them on my plate for me. Pile them on my plate. I want all the Brussels sprouts. I would describe it as corn. As corn. Brad Cornville accent. Princess Cornbread Girls is AJ.
I can't believe you.
What the hell did you just say, AJ? For actual dinner, I'm probably gonna throw together some linguine al tono con piselli cacio
I
e
can't
pepe
say any
style.
of
Is that
that.
even a thing?
I can't. I
What
feel
does
like they
that
made that up,
even
but they
mean?
didn't. It's
What does
real.
that even mean? Thank you for
I would
shouting
say
out
they're
for
bluffing, but I know they're
Reese
not.
Gaming. I'm eating corn right now. That's not junk food. For
She hasn't gone
Risu,
too
who
southern
somehow
tonight, but it does
only
happen.
eats occasionally, but that's not how I would describe your accent. It's just lovely, whatever it is.
Oh.
Farisu, who eats nothing but Burger King and quesadillas and weighs like 110 pounds somehow.
Risu for like the last 30 days has been like, all right, I'm gonna go eat my turkey sandwich now.
That's not too
I'm like,
unhealthy there.
No,
I wish
but
I
it's
could
like
have
Farisu.
Burger King and quesadillas. I mean,
Turkey sandwich
we
every
theorized
night.
that she has a tapeworm. It's only turkey sandwiches and well, Funyuns are delicious. I can't eat them
I
anymore,
know.
but man,
I miss eating chips.
I miss eating chips too. I substituted it with pork rinds, but like even that.
Yeah,
is
because
not...
keto, like pork rinds are like, hey, I mean,
Yeah.
sure, but we're bland. I have to have spicy ones, or I'm like, this is awful.
I'll use them as subs. Like instead of tortilla chips, I'll use them for like hummus or something. Or
Oh, I love hummus. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh man, now I'm getting so hungry.
Me too.
Funyuns are. They were one of my favorites, but I can't eat them no more. I guess you honestly are a huge inspiration to me getting in shape. What'd you do today when you worked out? You do the same workout every day, you told me, or something.
So
close to it, right?
today, because I was really crunched for time, because this like really cute streamer wanted me to
stop.
come on their stream.
I feel like-
So today I walked a couple miles on my treadmill while I like went through emails and listened to some
the
music. So there was just a
treadmill does some
regular
work
day.
there.
It is. I very much, that's probably my favorite part of any of my workouts is when it's treadmill time. I love walking and then power walking.
Yeah. How long are you on the treadmill for? Like a couple hours, you said? Every day?
Sometimes 70 minutes, and then sometimes I'll go more when it's when I hit that mindset of it's time to push a little bit past what we did yesterday. And as long as I can go over 70 minutes, I'm satisfied because I do so much more after and before. So as long as I can get in 70 minutes on the treadmill, I'll move on to something else. I have shadow boxed every single day of my life since 2009, and that's a really, really good workout. It helps you focus. You're still doing cardio, and you're working out your upper body quite a bit. So I still shadow box every single day for about an hour. And that'll either be before or after I use the treadmill. And then I do a couple sets of squats. And then I will do, they're called calisthenics, I believe. and it kind of helps you stretch your legs out just a little bit, but you're still working out while you do it. So it's quite rough after you do a couple sets of it's like a foot slash leg lift thing I do, and it really works out your calves and thighs. I also
You're so cute.
no, you are. I do fast quite a bit as well. So and that helps burn more during my workouts. So sometimes I will completely work out like fully empty, and you should be very careful when you do that. But honestly, like some of you've heard, I've got quite the past of being an athlete, and there's a certain level of experience I have where I know when my body is done and when it isn't. And I do cold plunges every single day.
What are those again?
So after every workout, I do ice baths. And the minimum per session is 3 minutes, but I've gotten to a point now where I go for about 6, fully submerged in ice water. And then I'll dunk my head in every now and then. And that shit is fucking life-changing. That is absolutely something that I enjoy now very much. It has, it's killed a lot of my anxiety. The dopamine has really taken care of a lot of my depression. And my alertness and my focus for the next 6 hours afterward is amazing. So I try to stream right after I do my cold plunge. And it helps with a lot. I have I have a bone spur in my right shoulder. I'll probably have to have surgery for pretty soon. But doing cold plunges has really healed it a lot. And when it's aching and hurting a lot, if I do a cold plunge for the rest of the day, it's fine and doesn't hurt.
Sorry, so many, lots of DMs here. Lots of angry DMs I'm getting. Yeah.
Is it about me?
It is about you.
Why?
I don't know, because you're so cute. They're like, how the fuck? Why is she so fucking cute? No,
Oh God, I got scared. They were like,
no, it's not about you.
get them off the stream.
Get them off the stream. Everyone's jealous. Everyone's jealous. Yeah, I'll talk to you about it. It has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
It's okay, folks. We're probably Farisu. I just read your DM, and I'm sorry, but I don't know if you're free later. But we should talk. Alithara, too hot.
No.
Aware.
Hi, fish.
Sure. Can you get on VR, or do you want to talk like in a voice call? I would prefer VR, but voice call would work too. Sorry, I'm I'm just too late. I just don't want to. You can go VR. All right. I would love to see you. I can't stay up too late though. I'm just gonna be honest because I have a mock jury thing I have to do tomorrow. No, dance game, being an adult.
Dance game.
No, I've been ducking jury duty for like 12 years now, and finally, I've succumbed to it.
The last time I got called in for it, my mom sent them a letter and was like, they are not fit or reasonable for jury duty. And I was like, Mom, why didn't you tell me that that's what you were telling them? And she was like, Mom things. And I was like, this might get me in trouble one day.
You're going to get arrested, or they're going to be, well, not arrested, but they're going to be like, you can't register your vehicle anymore or something. Like, they do stuff like that. Like,
oh, well, I'll just float and fly.
Do you drive?
You want my Jeep? Yes.
Okay. I guess
just not often because, like, I'm a very at-home person. Like,
do you get groceries delivered, or do you go drive?
I get them delivered because I am so far out. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of nowhere, so I do have to have my groceries delivered, which is kind of expensive sometimes. But
Zora, yeah. But I mean, it's worth it. Your health is... I always think that your health is the one thing that you should always invest in. You're getting
for sure
groceries, right?
Absolutely.
Who is the ancient warrior Buffetes. This is a Zordon and Alpha 5. I'm just going to call you a restricted suspicious user. Why are they restricted and suspicious? When you have shared ban lists or shared channel lists, I always get people coming in here and being like, hello, suspicious restricted user. I'm like, what? They just said hello. Why are they? I don't know. The perils of being a cute trans girl in corn country. That's very fair. Big Fish, thanks for getting us up to Icarus Chance. Icarus Chance. Fish, can you shout out Icarus Chance for me? I just got out of the shower just now and feeling comfy. I really want to take a bath right now. I got a massage, so I got all this massage oil all over my body, which maybe I shouldn't say that, but yeah, it's almost like,
be careful.
I need to like be careful. I might. Well, I don't want to get it on my my bed sheets and stuff. It's pretty comfy. I don't mind it absorbing into my skin. Freesu likes massage. I don't know how much I should talk about. I love you, Freesu, and I didn't mean to make it out to be like we were mad at each other still. It was more some other stuff, but I'll talk to you about it. I know. Imagine wanting to give Freesu a massage. Why am I talking about this? Freesu gaming, man.
I've never had a massage either.
What?
And you'd think I would after all the chaos my body's
Dude, I will
been through.
pay for a massage. Go get a massage, man.
What are those people that fucking like put your spine back in place? Chiropractor, is that how you say it? Yeah, I definitely need to go see one of those. Oh my
For
god.
sure. Oh my god, they're
My
miracle
neck.
workers.
My poor neck.
I liken it to being massaged by a god, an invisible god. These god hands. You gotta find a good masseuse though. Was it shout out just exclamation point shout out? Yeah, that works. Yeah, exclamation point shout out space Icar. I can do it too, real quick. Let me see. So are you on like a fast right now, or do you just not eat until you're hungry? Like what's your regimen? What's your fasting regimen?
It just depends like how I feel in that time when I wake up. And today I could tell that if I were to have something big or even kind of small, it would have killed my energy. And I wanted to make sure for this interview that I was like full focused on the questions and the details. So yeah,
I like talking about this because I don't have a ton of friends to talk about like keto and fasting with. Usually, you know, with fasting, people are like, "You're gonna die!" Or like people are just.
You want to know a really good fitness trick, but it's difficult.
Yeah.
If you have the mentality that you're fit, even if you aren't, and you have the mentality that you want to be like, this is an example, I'm not saying you want abs or anything, but if you have the mentality that you're shredded and you start to focus on that and it starts to become a reality in your head that you still think that you're super fit, even without being super active, your body will start to believe that. And it will go into a mode
a lot of sense.
where you become fit without having to do a lot. So that is a trick of mine as well. Is I'm always in that mental state where I'm fit no matter what. And now that I add that on with everything that I do, it's very easy for me to maintain or get into the type of shape that I want. It's difficult though. Yeah. Let's be honest. Like mental capacity for anything is challenging.
Well, it's like, I mean, well, it's with anything. It's not just being fit, but if you kind of visualize, you know, where you want to be, your body and your mind are going to take steps to do that because your body, it's a double-edged sword though, because your body, your brain doesn't judge you. So if you visualize yourself like depressed eating Burger King quesadillas all the time, that's what you're going to do. Sorry, what a dig.
You gotta be careful too, because like, I guess, with like dysphoria and things being something, if you have in your mindset that you're this, and then obviously you look in the mirror and you're not, it can create some negativity. But if you really are aware of that and you accept it and you still keep it in your head as a goal, it's still a pretty good cause, I think, and it's helped me a lot.
Yeah. How to get out of jury duty is a preliminary question. Just say you're going to vote guilty no matter what. They don't want people who already have an opinion or preconception of the trial. Can you say that?
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Maybe that's what my mom said. I hope not.
I'm in the
It
pizza
says here a couple
mentality
years
all
ago,
the time.
your mom
When
said
do I
this.
become pepperoni? Pizza always sounds good for some reason.
I
don't
know.
why.
There's some food out there that will always just sound appealing. You could eat a burger and like 7 hours later you're like, I just want another burger.
Burgers too. Yeah. Oops. Close this window. No. No. Is it? This is such a random thing from what we've been talking about, but I don't know how to do it. Is it difficult to multi-platform stream?
No, it's not.
Can you do it through one, like, can you do it through one client, or do you have to have like Streamlabs and OBS open or something like that?
There's a site called it's like a restreaming website, and it will create a stream key for you. It combines them. So you just put one key into your OBS and then it will work. But if I had to give you any advice at all, I would say that for you, I
don't think I would do it. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I would choose one or the other when you do it, because
I unfortunately
would hate for
my hands tied.
I would hate for you to get
I got banned.
Yeah, that feels so bad. I'm gonna go, this is my fault.
Banned from Twitch.
This is my fault.
Oh, I got nothing now. I'd love to have a chat like this with you one day. These are some of my favorite conversations. I would love to get to know you, Mika Bunny, in vrchat. Speaking of Mika Bunny, I will be on the horizon. We'll be interviewing Bunny Hearted next Saturday. Not this upcoming Saturday, but next Saturday. And I say that, I don't think you know Bunny Hearted. Do you know Bunny Hearted?
I've popped in their stream a couple times. I know my partner absolutely loves them.
Oh, yeah, AJ loves Bunny Hearted. So I'm very excited to get to... Oh, yeah, I was very excited for this interview. I have a can of pineapple and pizza ready. I had some... I hadn't eaten fruit, and yes, I've been on keto, but one thing, I guess there's a doctor that I watch on YouTube, and she was like, it's okay to pull yourself out of keto once in a while if you really like, but when you do it, eat like whole foods, like eat fruit or something.
For sure.
Eat something somewhat nutritious. And I hadn't eaten fruit in like, I don't even remember the last time I ate fruit, and I had a bunch of like pineapple and some apples and some cantaloupe, some grapes, and I actually felt really good. I was like,
that sounds so good.
I was like, man, I felt good. I felt like serotonin went back into my brain, and she's like, yeah, sometimes you need to do that. But anyway, sorry, that was random. But man, pineapple is so delicious. I'm sorry, pineapple.
I like pineapple too.
Pineapple's good. That's how a couple people I know got out of it. They usually have preliminary questions that are stuff like, do you know the person, and have you heard the trial case? You should say, yes, I know them. They're guilty. Pineapple. Man, I'm getting kind of hungry. But I'm going to try it. Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask you something.
Okay.
Thank you for being on here, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're amazing, and I want nothing but success for you, and I'm happy to see you doing well.
Thanks.
Seriously, you deserve it. And,
oh, thank you so much.
do you miss Twitch at all? Like, Lockie told me she likes the growth that she has, but it is kind of sad that like she pretty much had to start over. I mean, some people came over, but she pretty much had to start
I miss
over.
some things about Twitch.
Yeah.
But I think I'm more sad about how one move can basically make people completely forget who you are. Like there are a lot of people who have just like, it's like they're gone. It's like I never existed. And even when I go live on Twitch to like try and just like let people know where I'm at, I don't think it goes up past 8 viewers. And that, oh my gosh, after spending almost 9 years, it hits you in the feels a little bit. You're like, dang, that's all it took, huh? One month gone, and it's like I really fell off for you. But at the same time, it's a gift itself, because it gets to represent the people who are still with you that much more of how they've stuck with you for so long. So if anything, it just beefs up how amazing those people are who are still with you, and really allows you to open your eyes a bit wider to how special they are, in my opinion. So with every negative thing, I do think there is something super positive to pull from it. And if I lose people, it only adds up to how wonderful the people I still have are and how devoted they are to something that, like me, is just so small. And there's probably so many other things they could be doing that's more productive, but that's what they've chosen. And they let me know many times that there is nothing that could change their mind. And that's probably it for me. It does make me sad. Like, I've lost a lot of people, and yeah.
People really
And
people really don't like that site.
they really don't.
I can see. I understand. I'm not gonna say I don't understand, because I do. But I love you more than I love that site. Or I love or hate that. Like, I love you more than I hate that site, I guess is what I'm saying. And you and...
But yeah, it's just, I mean, but there's a lot that I don't miss at the same time. Like, having like 4 emote slots.
Right.
After, I mean, it's like, you'd think after being a part of a place for so long, like, can a girl just get an extra emote slot? Like, can't even get that? Like, I'm out here, like, having to beg for a slot for a picture. Like, it's really sad.
How many slots do you get over there?
Too many.
You get
too
lot.
Many.
Yeah, you've opened up here. You get like 1 million. It's like 7 TV.
I was so happy about that. Like, and I shouldn't have been as excited as I was over that, but I was so happy that I got have that many emote slots. I was like, that's cool. I can finally add more stuff. And it makes me feel bad too, because of like something that happened to me on Twitch. Like, my own community can't even have more emotes of our stream because they're just not allowing me to.
What?
Can't even have follower emotes. They banned me from having follower emotes on Twitch.
Why?
Because of that strike from 2021.
Wait, what is that?
Right?
You just see that soft cap test? Wait, what is that? Oh no. Wait, oh, sorry. So someone invited me to a group and I was like, what is going on? I'm so confused. Okay, whatever.
If you saw the group I'm in above my head, you would be like, I have questions.
Feet! I have questions. I don't really have questions, so you like feet.
I don't know, girls. Your feet are right here. It's triggering me.
So are your feet like, it's like, is preferred body a part of choice, feet?
It's not my preferred, but it's one of them that I do enjoy.
I'm just a fan of all body parts. I was having a discussion about this the other day, and somebody was like, I just don't get the fetishizing of feet. And I was like, you don't get it? Like, I get it. I mean, I love them, but I love them just as much as any other body part. I think it's all good. I can see being in love or enamored with any body part on somebody. Drink water. Thank you, Minerva. I just want to say, Minerva, thank you for the 28 months. You've been such a big supporter, and I know I go on hiatuses sometimes, but the reason why I go on hiatuses is because I'm here for the long haul, and I want to make sure that I'm mentally okay and not burn myself out, which I have so many times. I thought that said I love white people, but it says I love whole people. AJ loves white people. I love white people too, but I love whole people. Well, I don't like a lot of white people, but I like you guys. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Hello, Speed. I love whole bullshit. They're all white. Oh, wait, Car actually isn't white from what I know. And neither is Farisu. Farisu is not white either, but she is. What am I talking about right now? I'm sorry. I'm hungry. I was going to ask you, random question. What is the longest time you fasted?
It was back in 2011 for a fight. I had to cut down to 125 pounds, and I went a total of 5 days without having anything solid, just water.
Did you have electrolytes?
Yes, for sure. But even that had to be reduced.
So what did you take? Sorry, go ahead.
Basically, it's kind of sad, but you wouldn't have anything. You would actually just full blown fast. And the scary part is,
I mean, it can be scary because you're so skinny.
One time I had gone through a 4-day fast trying to cut weight. And the most I would eat, like, I remember I would have like a handful of almonds every now and then. And even that had to be reduced as well. And it came down to fight day. And if you don't make weight, you have a certain amount of time to make it happen. And it is probably one of the scariest things I've had to go through. I had to sit in the sauna for probably a couple hours, and every now and then they'd let me come out and they'd wrap me up in towels to try and get me to keep cutting the weight. Salt baths and things like that. And I remember I had to shed 2 pounds before we couldn't figure out what happened during the camp that really messed up us not being on point, because we had done everything right, but the human body is crazy and it will do things sometimes that are just out of hand. And I had to put a sweatsuit on, and I remember I had that last pound to shed, and I seriously was like, I'm dead. I'm so dead. But the athletes have wild mental capacity, and you will see the light through the tunnel and keep pushing. And I made weight, but I was extremely, extremely sick the night before a fight. So it was rough. I came really close to just calling it and saying like, "Hey, I am absolutely physically unable." And by the time morning came around, I kind of came to, and things were a bit normal. But this is back when things weren't as sanctioned. Now it's illegal to hydrate with an IV. You can't do that anymore. And back then, I had to have an IV to hydrate that night.
That's brutal.
Yeah, I sat in a hotel bed and just had this
in my
arm.
What?
And I was just like, I questioned. The only thing going through my mind was, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? There were several times also walking out to the cage where I would be like, what in the world am I doing?
Yeah.
What in the world?
Especially
and it's kind of like a roller coaster. Like when you get down off the big hill, like you're like, okay, everything's okay. Yeah. So it's that climb up that really makes you scared and question tons of things.
Thank you, the follower. I love your name, Cutie Gamer VR. I'm surprised I haven't seen that name before. Wait, they stream. Hello, Cutie Gamer VR. My guest tonight is the lovely Moxley, former MMA fighter, future wrestler, former wrestler, current partner, streamer, my fitness role model, and I actually mean that with all sincerity. Like,
you left out the part where I'm an O Girls enjoyer.
You're an O Girls enjoyer. No, that's means a lot to me. I can't diss you for that. Thank you. That's why you're here, because you've been so supportive and loving and kind, and I just want everyone to support you too, because you've been nothing but sweet to me. That sounds like a heart disease risk. That whole thing that you just described.
It's more of a risk to your liver and kidneys. Sadly.
Well, the water deprivation or the yeah, right. Because fasting on
it's a risk to your heart too. Like, don't get me wrong, Ostrich. It is.
Yeah. Hey, Scorpion. Do you drink? I need to drink more water right now, actually. I need to go get some electrolytes, too. How are you feeling right now?
Pretty normal.
Okay. Are you streaming later tonight?
Possibly.
Yeah. I might be calling it soon. I am extremely tired, and I have jury duty tomorrow.
Yeah, be careful. Make sure you get enough rest.
This is why I'm a housewife and not a sports girl. I'm not an athlete, but I do like the idea of being super healthy and preventing things and being as much of a cute anime girl IRL as I possibly can.
That's the best motivation for me. That's what keeps me going. I'm like, I want to be cute. I know I already am, but
you are very cute.
I'm greedy.
But as I get older, that is a nice goal, but I really just want to be healthy.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? That's the best advice that I would have for people that want a reason to stay fit or work out and exercise. a lot of people go into it with the goals of like their looks and how they want to be. And unfortunately, like that part takes the longest. And what you should really motivate yourself to push yourself to those levels and to stay healthy and eat well is the feeling. You should just to feel healthy and be healthy. And that is where the real enjoyment comes from. Being able to like wake up and be like, natural energy. Holy, I've never had this before. That's the best thing you can do is do it for your health. And then later on you could be like, I think I want some abs.
Jury duty. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I agree with that. It's kind of with anything. Like you get motivated by some superficial desire, and then when you do it, you're like, oh, this actually feels good in like a healthy way. Casita, thank you for the raid. Welcome everybody. Hello raiders. Big Mac breasts, says Flying Ostrich. Up in that can of pineapple, it sounded so good. Man, that sounds good. Motivated by the future of getting sick, gigantic boobs and Burger King every week. Someday. Or that's
Farisu. Farisu knows their goals. They just know exactly what it is. Whoppers and boobs.
Everyone needs a dream. This is a good dream for her. Hello, Gross and alithara. Hi, how was your stream? 7 days to die. I was not nice to my knees. Should have used knee pads when I used to stock shelves. I have somewhat bad knees too, and I didn't really do anything to them. I don't know. I have hardly any cartilage left in them. Oh no. Come eat my cooking. I can give anyone boobs. Please, I want to eat your cooking. Oh, look.
I was going to say I want to eat something else, and it wasn't the cooking, but I stopped myself.
Yeah.
Eat your boobs.
She's really pretty. I could see you wanting to eat any of her body parts if that's what you're going to. Hi, Greeter Toddy. How are you?
Hi, look, eater.
Those are nice feet in the picture. I know somebody in that group. Their name's G. Whirlikers. I don't think you know them. Maybe you do.
No. But, you know, fellow feet enjoyer.
Yeah. I'm an enjoyer of feet. I'm not gonna lie. But
I'm picky. I can't lie. Like they can't just be any feet. Like
they can't be like gross old man feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are disgusting.
I look at my feet sometimes and I'm like, good morning, money makers.
Money
How
makers.
are you?
Wow.
I have really, really pretty feet. I lucked out. I really did.
What?
My own feet is almost what produced that fetish for me. Maybe.
Okay, I'll follow up on that off stream. Just kidding. I believe it. I feel like I have seen them on Instagram.
You probably have.
Or on
yeah,
Twitter.
You had my Instagram back when we first met, and
yeah, no, I'm remembering some things. No.
Yeah, you and I had some pretty interesting DMs back in the day.
Shit, we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Back when I was hoeing out.
Yeah.
Oh man, don't say that.
Well, I won't say it like that, but I mean,
there was one day, I was the one that said it.
I woke up and just looked at my phone and went, oh, thank you.
I feel like, I don't know if everyone goes through this phase, but I certainly did, and I feel like a couple people did. When you're kind of, for me, exploring my like femininity and like just feeling super cute in some clothes and be like, you know what? I need somebody to give me some positive affirmation here. So let me send these pictures to people I trust. Sometimes people I didn't, which is unfortunate. But degenerate email alt account Craigslist days. Craigslist personals. You ever use Craigslist personals? That might have been.
No, I don't even know what that is. I know what Craigslist is, but not
that was what degenerates like me and Farisu used to hook up before Grindr.
What even is that?
It was like Grindr, but not Grindr. You just go on there and it'd be like, M for M, need hot Asian or something, or like looking for yada yada. It was just like a hookup site.
Interesting.
Yeah, I never really used M4T. I wish I was using M4T. I wish I was using that, or T for T. T for T. What I don't know. This is very interesting. Maybe I should save it for my Kick stream or something. We've reached the truthy hour of the interview. Oh, there's nothing wrong with wanting cute affirmation. I really wanted it back in the day. Well, I just felt cute, and I was like, up until that point, I think maybe not all of us go through this, but I was hiding myself and my femininity from everyone around me in real life, and
My brother
myself
snitched on
even.
me.
Aww. You get along with your brother now, right? I mean,
Yeah, we got in an argument one time, and he looked at my mom and went, "Yeah, well, Alex wears girl clothes."
Wow.
And I was like,
brutal, dude. Come on, bro. They must have been really mad at you.
"Yeah,
Yeah, siblings, you just want to you just want to twist the knife sometimes, but that's brutal. No. I hope you don't find the Craigslist killer. Oh, good W. This is for Isu. T for T. I need more of that in my life, gotta admit. Craigslist was like online newspaper classified, but looked like a 4chan page. T for T means. I'm sure you know what that means. Do you know what that means?
I don't."
It just means transgender for transgender.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm missing out.
Yeah. See, we all want a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I still use 4chan, but Craigslist Personals is gone. At what cost? Well, the cost of, minors and sexual exploitation being reduced.
Ay, ay, ay.
So, pretty much underage people were, like, soliciting themselves. So,
Yikes.
glad that's gone. Parisi's like, whatever, bro. Bring it back, man. Came out to my sister right after Easter this year. She asked me my new name, then swapped my name over. That's so wholesome. My sister actually asked me the same thing. She was like, so what name do you go by? And I was like, Chelsea, short for Chelsea. And she's like, oh, that's cute. And
Aw.
she calls me a mix of both, but she it was my mom's birthday and she wrote Chelsea on my cup. And I was like, oh.
Heck.
That's really sweet.
I'm jealous.
My family's been the best on
That's
people I
awesome.
don't, and I'm sorry it's not the case.
Yeah, my family has just it's
I'm so
complete
sorry.
opposite. I haven't talked to my dad in like 6 years, and I came out to my mom pretty recently, and it just was terrible.
I know.
It was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that. You deserve so much better than that. I bought a car on Craigslist. I bought when I was 17. For some reason, I spent most of my savings on a 1984 Honda CRX, and because I wanted to learn stick. I don't know if you know anything about cars. I barely know anything about cars. And I ran
everything about semi trucks.
You do. You do. That's true. You do. And it's okay. Your community has your back. AJ said that, which is true. And I have your back. And like I said, you're like a sister to me. I wish I could cuddle you and pet you.
Me too.
What was I gonna say? Oh, the long story short is I never actually properly registered it because it failed smog, and so when I ran away for a month with this girl, Grace. And I was just living in San Francisco. I had another car that was my actual car. And because I didn't register it, it eventually got towed. And the person that sold it to me, kept sending me angry emails. Like, what the fuck? Why am I getting tow notices and stuff? And I was just too much of a POS little kid back then to do anything about it. But anyway, random Craigslist story of mine. I've had pretty good experiences on Craigslist. Minus the Craigslist Personals, which wasn't actually that bad. I only had a couple dates on there, or encounters, as they say. Encounters. For some reason, I was much more okay with that than using an app like Grind. I've never really used Grindr outside of just downloading it and just seeing what it was like. But I never.
Is Grindr better than Tinder?
I've never used it, and I don't like using Tinder either. I don't like using dating apps. I think they're.
I looked at Tinder one time, signed up, immediately terminated my account. I was like, no, not here anyway.
Not here anyway. It's just I don't know. I've heard Grindr's the worst possible thing. Never tried it though. I heard it was okay. Somebody told me they loved it. They're like, I love Grindr as Rook up. I don't think she's watching Rook.
Tinder was just a bunch of couples that were all DMing me wanting to do couple things, and I was like,
Oh.
I, I don't know about that.
I like the
I-
idea of it, but in practice, my friend, I won't say her name, my friend who is dating couples said it's not worth it because, like, then...
Well, the girl would always be super pretty, but then the guy would just be like not my type at all, and I'm like, you're not putting it in my butt.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Oh,
no Tinder.
Lord, says Tinker Skyfly, because what you getting someone into now? Who is Tinker Skyblock? Do you know them?
No.
My parents asked me if I wanted to set up a farmers only account for me. Please no. What does that mean? What is farmers only?
FarmersOnly.com.
What is farmers
It's
only?
a farmers dating site where farmers
What?
date each other. Yeah, there's commercials for it all the time. You don't have to be lonely at farmersonly.com.
Farisu knows. I don't watch the commercials, apparently. I'm not getting anyone into anything here. Dating apps are just a nightmare for non-binary people. Yo. True. So is dealing with anything in mainstream society.
I was surprised by how many non-binary people there were on Tinder when I used it.
Really?
Yeah, there was actually quite a few on there. They weren't my type, but there were more non-binary than trans.
Okay, now Cornbread Girl is coming out, says AJ.
Okay. Yeah. Saddle up, chap.
See, you don't say that. Thank you, Cole Taylor, for the
Yeah, I
water.
don't. You're right.
NBs as well as agents. What are agents? Agender? MNB. What is the site people I know use? Timey? Timey users? I have no idea what that is. Welcome Tinker Skyblock, by the way. I don't get them here in the city, but out at my dad's place, it's all the time. Wait. How big is farmersonly.com?
It's probably big.
Farmers only. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I do understand the life of a farmer.
Can you imagine gatekeeping yourself to only farmers? You're like,
I can't even imagine
I will only
choosing
date
to
a
be a farmer. Like, it's
well,
you're-
some people are born into that. Some people
That's
actually almost don't have a
true.
choice.
Yeah, but some people are like, I choose to farm. I choose to work the longest hours and get paid the least.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's an interesting choice you've made. Farmers have those big, strong hands, though. Yeah, Farisu just loves big man hands. Have you ever okay, I cannot ask this question. I'm going to ask it
No,
anyway.
you can't.
So Farisu and I talk a lot about I was about to call it hissy hypnosis. Sissy hypnosis. Did you ever watch that?
No.
Yeah, she's wholesome. She's not like degenerates like me and you, Farisu.
I just played Fortnite.
She just plays Fortnite. Sissy hypno, where? Farmer culture is weirdly a big thing here anyway. Maybe I'll check out Farmers Only. I'll probably get killed. No, that's such a dark joke. Like, probably, though. I don't know. I feel like the trans non-binary community wouldn't fit in with Farmers Only. But what do I
Probably
know?
not.
What do I know? Maybe.
You never know.
Farmer culture is weirdly a big thing here anyway. Time to crank out some of my Bambi flies. Wait, what? Bambi files? Nani kore? What?
I'm confused.
Freeze, you get your VR stuff set up. Bambi sleep aware? Some farmers want their land to go to family that will
That's true,
farm.
Luck Eater. But can you imagine having that bird and you're like, I wear thigh eyes and take pictures of myself. I don't know how this thing works. You want me to go over the crops? I got a crop top, but I don't know what this is.
Bob says, I don't know. You might find a farmer that's like, I don't care what you are as long as you get up at 5 a.m. to fix fence posts. Maybe. That's true. Truly about the farming. I mean, there's all sorts of niche dating sites like that. Like, wait, Farisi, don't forget to migrate your Imgur images that are NSFW to your new folder location. They are cleansing Imgur of NSFW in 3 weeks.
You're the only person I know that has bookmarks of IMGUR images for Farisu, unless you do.
No, I
No.
don't.
Who saves all these? Farisu literally has the largest catalog of NSFW pictures I've ever seen in my life.
I believe
Nobody has come close to Farisu Gaming. Not even close. Not even close, dude.
That's their inner World of Warcraft gamer.
I'm wholesome and do not do anything inappropriate. Somehow you're also like really wholesome in like a childlike way, like in an innocent way. You know, do you know what I mean when somebody is so salacious and so sexual and so lewd, but they are like you just want to head pat them because they're so innocent and adorable. I just find cute people to date on VRC and Twitch. Yeah. I need to do less dating, apparently. I need to focus on me. But sorry, that's just me venting a little bit. True though, you know, I love meeting cute people. I don't necessarily need to date them, but I do really like meeting cute people on VRC and Twitch. There are some high schools about me that have tractor parking for students. Come on, dude. What?
Yeah.
What, was that a thing for you too? Tractor parking?
Yeah.
Who the fuck goes, wait, tractor parking?
I'm serious. That's a thing here too.
Thank
Bring
you,
your tractor to school day.
Bring your tractor to school day. Man, I want to ride a tractor. I'm just kind of jealous.
No.
There are some high schools about me that have tractor parking for students. I'll get on VR soon, TM. Finishing high value dinner. Have a great rest of your interview. I might, if I'm too sleepy, I might just record you a message. I would like to talk soon, but I am so tired right now.
No.
I woke up at like 5 a.m.
I did too. Oh, a.m.?
Yeah.
What were you doing at 5 a.m.? You're like, work?
Yeah, I was working.
Dang. We're like the opposite. You got up at 5 a.m. and I was like, I got up at 5 p.m.
It's okay. Get some
Just
sleep
for
then we
you.
can talk. Just message me what you want to do. Okay. I just wanted to clear the air because I feel like I left Farisa a voice message that made it seem like I was upset with her. I wasn't upset with you at all. I was just kind of upset at the situation, but I won't get into that really.
I hope this doesn't involve me somehow.
It does not involve you
After
at
what you
all.
said earlier,
I
I'm
will
like-
say people really don't like Kick is what I'll say. I actually got some DMs that are like, Kick, I can't believe you're supporting Kick. I'm not supporting anything. I don't support Twitch. I don't support any big corporation, okay? But I do feel like I support the content creators and I support free speech and I support just learning about other platforms and seeing what's out there. That is what I support. And I love this person right here so much. And I want to hear how they're doing and why they like what they're doing. And that I support. So I got your back is what I'm saying. I got
Thanks.
your back. I got your back.
I mean, like, I'm agreeing completely. Like, I don't like a majority of it either. But if it's a place for me to just hit the live button and go live and be supported in a better way, then I don't see what's so bad about it. You know?
Yeah.
Especially with how scarce things are for streamers and small streamers. Like, and if you've been doing it for as long as I have, you do have to make sacrifices. You do have to make changes that some people are probably not going to agree with. And some of that is like a business thing. And then some of it is just like taking care of yourself, you know? Like, I knew not everyone would agree with me going over there. But if it's going to help me survive so I can feed my cats and pay off a mortgage for my house and just overall be healthier, I mean, why wouldn't I choose that option?
Yeah.
Especially if, you know, I'm not partaking in what people hate about the site. That's the thing. Like, I'm not doing what people hate about it.
Yeah.
I'm just streaming like I always have on Twitch. There's nothing that's any different.
Gotta pay them bills. Sorry, someone just rubbed me the wrong way, and I love this person that rubbed me the wrong way, but this is somebody who used to make 6 figures who's criticizing you right now. So
God.
So that's
Yeah, I'm just a small streamer that didn't graduate high school, and I've somehow made my way from
so
two
you gotta do
rocks.
what you gotta do, you know. You gotta do what you gotta do to pay the bills. Jayundo! Hi, that's the South, baby. What is the South? Kickbit gambling way? No, no gambling. Off-road cart. That's what Flying Ostrich says. What's a UTV? Oh yeah, I know UTV. Seen those. So today's guest is the lovely Moxley. Do you have any final words? I'm sorry for wrapping it up, but I think it's
No, you're
time
fine.
for sleep.
I just want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in, and thank you for always supporting and watching Oh Girls. And
Thank you.
I'm very thankful to you for having me on and interviewing me. I've never, I don't think I've ever been interviewed before. And you're one of those people that I do hold dear to me. I do. You've always been so sweet to me, and to be able to know you and be friends with you has always been such a wonderful treat. And I think the world could use a whole lot more of you.
Aw. You heart. So. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I really do appreciate it. I do.
I'm really happy you could come on, and I hope we can hang out like off stream or even
For sure, anytime. Like just let me know what you're doing. Sometimes I'm shy, okay? I'll admit that. I'm shy sometimes. So sometimes I fail to be the first to engage. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And I'll try to be better about that too, so yeah.
All right, you guys. Let's find. Oh shoot. Someone, I don't even know who's streaming right now. Even though I understand not liking raids, I just can't help but raid people. Let's send you to Sweet Heat because they always raid me. Sweet Heat, my freestyle senpai, and they're an amazing dancer and super cute. Thank you again. Can we give a big round of applause to Moxley, Alithara, and some hearts in the chat for being here? Bye, Reaper. And I just want to say, Reaper, thank you for stopping by. Everyone who stopped by, I'm sorry I couldn't chat as much as I usually do, but I just wanted to support my friend and focus on the interview. Thank you, Evan and Real, Jayundo, Lucky Eater. Thank you, Castita, for the raid. Thank you. I always pronounce your name wrong. It's like Castatitas or something. Angel Tail, I love you. Flying Ostrich, it's really nice to meet you. Thank you for supporting my friend. I appreciate you. I love you, AJ. You're so sweet and kind. You inspire me so much. Cass is fine. Okay, Cass it is. Thank you guys for being here. My schedule, Saturday, I'll be back. 6 p.m. Central. I might start stream a little bit earlier to just chill and mess around. But Cassandra, okay, that's a pretty name. I like that name. Farisu, if you can hop on in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to be here. I don't know how long you're going to be, but I really actually do want to talk to you. I don't want to postpone it anymore.
Love you,
Levy. I love you too, AJ. You're amazing. Take care, everyone. Thank you for shouting her out. Angel Tail, thank you for everything that you do for me. Fuck! Sweet, he just raided somebody.
That's always the biggest pain. You're like, raiding this person, and then they raid someone else instantly.
Who do I like? I like so many people here. Let's see. Fubuki? I don't get to raid her very often. Should she just start? Yeah. Do you guys want to go see somebody cute? I guess she's cute. She's very cute. Who else could I not raid? I guess I need a Voxiandra. What is she doing? Saga 1? I don't know about that. Crushin? Thug Shells, maybe? Sorry, I'm just naming names now. I wish I could raid you, but I can't anymore. I don't know what Tina's doing. What is Tina doing? April Fool's continues? Sorry, I'm just talking to myself right now. I always have a hard time choosing people to raid. And I'm so tired.
Oh,
What if I pull? Don't raid anybody. I'm gonna be that.
it's an
cursed.
option. That's a realistic option.
It's a realistic option. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Wait, streams aren't loading for me right now. Nani kore. Twitch gaming.
Damn. Sorry for, you don't have to apologize for.
All right, I'm gonna raid my friend Tina, who I've been watching One Piece with. She's a good friend of mine, and I want her to know that I love her. Anyway, I'll be back Saturday with Ribbles, and I really love you guys. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you, Allie, for being here.
Mm-hmm.
You're amazing, and I'm gonna give you some hugs. And I love you guys. Let's go raid Tina, cause she raids me and stuff. Good night, everybody. Good night, Def Not Maddie. And I'll be on. Thank you, Bob. I won't forget to end. Tina's super cute and amazing raid. She's a good friend of mine, and you know, I haven't gotten a chance to raid her in a while. If you don't have my emotes, you can do that one. If you do, thank you guys for being here. I'm so glad to be doing interviews again. Take care, Drellic. Fused Integral. Thank you, Bob. Good night, Evan. It's been really nice getting to talk with you, Evan. You're very sweet. And I hope you've been getting cute girl clothes, which I'm always a big fan of. Thank you, Cass, for the raid again. I love you guys. Reaper, Jayundo, Rain Dust, take care. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night, okay? Remember to get lots of sleep. Let me give you some hugs. I'll be back streaming on Saturday. Thank you guys for supporting the interviews and supporting my friends. It was nice meeting you, Ostrich. Please stick around for the raid. It would mean a lot to me, and I know it would mean a lot to Tina, too. Bye, Cara. It was nice talking with you, too. Bye!